Chapter 364. The restless Tulu Mu Yen could understand Jun Luochen's hostile tone. If she was betrayed by someone close to her, her body destroyed and even her 7 spirits and 3 souls separated from her body, then she would take all the grudges and return to take back her own things when she got the chance, sending the enemy to hell to never be reincarnated again. Is the devil cultivator in the deep mountains from your devil realm? Lu Mu Yen asked. Jun Luochen snorted with disdain. Just them? From the devil realm of the upper world, and they're just the devil race from a lower world. Is the upper world also divided into many interfaces? Lu Mu Yen was actually curious about the upper world that they spoke of. Jun Luochen was slightly surprised to hear her question, obviously not expecting that she didn't know about the upper world. Didn't the demon king on your shoulder tell you? Lu Mu Yen glared at Mo Yen with her beautiful eyes. He said he would tell me when I had that strength. It's time for her to know now, you can tell her. Mo Yan's voice sounded faintly. Now that Lu Mu Yen, this woman, provoked the devil lord of the devil realm, once the two cooperated, they would definitely slaughter back to the upper world. The upper world is called the Guangling world. There aren't many interfaces in the upper world, but there are 4 major realms, namely the human realm, devil realm, demon realm, and the sea realm. Jun Luochen paused, then continued, although the Guangling world is only divided into 4 major realms, but the area is very vast and boundless. If a high-level swordmaster wanted to travel through the entire Guangling world, it's heard that it would take at least thousands of years, and on the premise of not encountering danger or resistance. Is the sea realm where the sea race lives? Lu Mu Yen asked after thinking for a bit. She wasn't surprised by the vastness of Guangling world. After all, the area of the spiritual realm she once lived in was also vast and boundless, with numerous races. Yes. Among the 4 major realms, the sea race is the strongest existence, but there are also traces of the sea race on this interface of yours. It's useless for you to know other information for now. You'll know it naturally when you reach Guangling world. Jun Luochen replied. Lu Mu Yen raised an eyebrow, but also didn't ask any more. Right now, she still had so many things to deal with on this interface and she didn't have much energy to devote to the currently illusory upper world, so she only needed to know it in general. Lu Mu Yen chatted with Jun Luochen along the way and learned a lot about devil cultivators. Half a day later, they arrived at the location where the Heavenly Secret Palace's signal was released. At this time, the pupils of the several other sects were already waiting there, but except for the pupils of the Heavenly Secret Palace, the pupils of the other sects were in a relatively sorry state. There was even a decrease in numbers. They must have been lost when they fell into the devil cultivator's trap. You're actually fine? The leader of the vast mountain sect couldn't help but exclaim when he saw that Gu Xiao and the others not only didn't lose anyone but were even safe. Gu Xiao snorted coldly. Do you really want to see something happen to us? How could that be? The vast mountain sect's pupil knew that his tongue had slipped and he smiled awkwardly, but he was secretly resentful. This time their vast mountain sect suffered the heaviest losses. Not only did they lose 3 inner pupils, but they also lost 2 saint treasures before being able to slay those devil cultivators. Brother Qi must have something important to call us here, right? Hani stepped forward and asked the elegant Ming Xiao. Ming Xiao stood with his hands behind his back, his handsome expression showing a rare solemnity. We caught a leader of the group of devil cultivators, and we discovered from him that the missing pupils of the 6 major sects are currently trapped in the Dark Evil Cliff. What? They're actually trapped at the Dark Evil Cliff. The Spirit Beast sect leader exclaimed. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, the Dark Evil Cliff was different from the 3 mountains they had visited before. It was the most dangerous place at Falling Ghost River. The dark evil force at the bottom of the cliff was something even strong sword saints didn't dare go deep towards. If they went, weren't they courting death? Are we going to have to go to the Dark Evil Cliff? That place isn't somewhere we can go. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect immediately objected. They already lost 3 people, and if they went to the Dark Evil Cliff, there may be no return. Ming Xiao glanced at the 2 of them indifferently. The place where the missing pupils are trapped isn't at the top of the Dark Evil Cliff and there is still some distance. Now that we've accepted the mission, we should go and check it out. Of course, if any of the sect's pupils want to back out, I won't stop you. His eyes were indifferent, but he held a look as if looking down upon the world, which made the several leading pupils feel pressured. Our 8 extreme sect will never back out, Gu Xiao said without hesitation. Hani then said, our sword sect will also not back out. Well, go to. The medicine sect's leading pupil said with furrowed brows. After listening to the promise of the 3, Ming Xiu nodded with satisfaction and turned his eyes to the pupils of the vast mountain sect and the spirit beast sect. Under his pressure, the two leading pupils could only grit their teeth and agree, we will naturally not back down either. Very well. Let's not delay any longer and leave now. Ming Xiu retracted his gaze and disappeared in place first. The pupils of the other sects didn't dare dawdle and quickly followed. Lu Mu Yen pursed her lips. Ming Xiu, this guy looked like a king wherever he was. Yen, did you discover anything? A magnetic, clear voice suddenly sounded in her mind. I think the devil cultivators have ulterior motives for trapping the missing pupils on the dark evil cliff. Maybe they're deliberately diverting our attention. Lu Mu Yen pondered for a moment and replied. Ahead, Ming Xiu's eyes were dyed with a smile. Indeed. Their purpose should be for the soon-to-be-born obsidian fluorite in Falling Ghost River. You asked the pupils of the 6 major sects to go to the dark evil cliff to investigate on purpose to let those devil cultivators relax their vigilance. Lu Mu Yen always knew that Ming Xiu was very scheming. After arriving at dark evil cliff, well, act according to opportunity. When the birth of the obsidian fluorite you estimated is approaching, well, do allure the tiger out of the mountain and go back to snatch it. Ming Xiu never hid his dark side in front of Lu Mu Yen. Lu Mu Yan's lips raised in an arc. What about the pupils of the other sects? It's enough to ensure their safety. If one wants to get a share of the porridge, one also has to see if they have that ability or not. Ming Xiu obviously didn't take the other pupils of the 6 major sects seriously. He naturally had this arrogant capital. Lu Mu Yen also wasn't prepared to be so big-hearted to share a heaven-ranked spiritual item with the pupils of the other sects so generously. If those people could snatch it themselves, she wouldn't destroy that opportunity, but she wouldn't help either. She had reached the pinnacle of the understanding realm with her water attribute elemental energy. She could enter great achievement as long as she had an opportunity. It was necessary to have a handy water attribute natal magic tool. I met an incarnation of a devil cultivator earlier, and he exuded a strong aura. If his real body came to snatch the obsidian fluorite, I'm afraid that we'll have trouble. Lu Mu Yen remembered that black-clothed man and cautioned Ming Xiu. Ming Xiu's eyes concealed a very faint fighting intent, and his thin lips overflowed with a curve. Isn't it too boring to have no strong opponents to snatch the obsidian fluorite with? True. The Falling Ghost River will definitely be interesting in a few days. Lu Mu Yen also revealed a look of eagerness. She just loved to join in the fun the most. Besides, the obsidian fluorite hadn't been born yet, so it couldn't be considered to be discovered by the devil cultivators. Those who saw it had a share, so she and Ming Xiu would definitely snatch it. Chapter 365. Maternal Clan's most valuable treasure. Dark Evil Cliff was deep in the forest directly opposite the Falling Ghost River. Along the way, the pupils of the 6 major sects encountered a lot of miasma and demonic beasts. After that, they were attacked by 6 waves of devil cultivators consecutively. Once they entered the opponent's array, they didn't even need to break the array at all with an array compass, as Ming Xiu could find the weak point and cut through the array with his own strength. Under the great power of Ming Xiu, not a single pupil was injured. The impressive strength he revealed also completely shocked the pupils of the 6 major sects. The number 1 pupil of the inner sect of the Heavenly Secret Palace was indeed well-deserved. Ming Xiu's white clothes were without dust, his steps were light, like a fallen immortal, elegant and noble, giving people a feeling of unattainability, which made many female pupils want to come forward but stop, only watching his silhouette with growing infatuation. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were clear. She indeed had love for Ming Xiu between that of a man and woman, and she, who had been single for 2 lives, also wanted to find a man who she could stand side by side with and pursue the great path together. Ming Xiu was the first man who made her heart move. That feeling was a little wondrous. Although love at first sight was a bit exaggerated, but it was true that feelings grew subconsciously in the very few meetings she had with him. Of course, she wasn't a daughter who needed to cling to a man to survive. Moreover, the level of relationship they established between them was mostly built on feelings, and they had never experienced life and death together, so the feelings she had for Ming Xiu weren't that deep, and it was even less likely that she would lose her way because of him. Strengthening her path's heart and pursing the great path of an ultimate powerhouse was still her biggest pursuit at present. Brother Kai's array attainments are too strong. Could it be that you've already become a grade 5 array master? Han Yi saw Ming Xiu split open a great array again, and easily slay the 3 initial phase sword venerable devil cultivators. He suppressed the shock in his heart and asked tentatively with a smile. Ming Xiu replied with a smile, I have indeed advanced to grade 5 array master. Han Yi's test was also what other people thought. After knowing that he was already a grade 5 array master, many pupils all sucked in a deep breath. He was only 22 years old yet was already so talented in arrays. He was almost as good as the #1 array master among the inner pupils of the 8 Extremes sect. Lu Muyan's eyes overflowed with a small smile. Ming Xiu only said that he was a grade 5 array master, yet these people were shocked. If they knew that this guy was already a grade 7 array master, then wouldn't their jaws drop from shock? Not to mention Ming Xiu, even she was already a grade 5 array master. It seemed that it wasn't something to make a big fuss over. If the pupils of the 6 major sects who specialized in arrays heard Lu Muyan's inner thoughts, then wouldn't they feel suffocated to death? Who could compare with these two abnormal monsters? Wherever grade 5 array masters went on the entire Tianling continent, they were the objects that others catered to, and they could also become more powerful elders in the Array Masters Alliance. Brother Kai's talent in arrays is truly amazing. Gu Xiu quickly restrained the shock in his eyes and said with a smile, I heard that Brother Qi had advanced to a grade 5 smith a year ago. With Brother Kai's smithing talents, I'm afraid that you're not far from grade 6, yes? There's still some distance. Ming Xiu smiled lightly and didn't say much. The others couldn't ask any more now, but they were all amazed and an unsurpassable sense of respect for him grew in their hearts. Ming Xiu was known as the #1 person in the inner sect of the Heavenly Secret Palace not only because of his talent in arrays and smithing, but also because of his talent in cultivation. Ming Xiu, has your smithing skills reached grade 7? Lu Muyan asked telepathically. Ming Xiu's eyes that were as deep as a sea of stars melted into a soft color. I just entered grade 7 some time ago. Abnormal monster. Lu Muyan raised an eyebrow and uttered 2 words after a moment. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. One must know that the highest evaluation level of the smiths on Tianling continent was only grade 10, and it was said that the #1 person on the continent was only a grade 8 smith. It wasn't impossible to break through grade 10 with Ming Xiu's powerful talent. You can also refine grade 6 pills, right? Ming Xiu's gentle and clear voice carried a smile. I can barely make grade 6 pills. The firmness in Lu Muyan's eyes grew stronger. But it was because she cultivated to the core formation stage to be able to refine grade 6 pills, and she even had to use a spirit flame, so her strength still needed to be improved. Her cultivation speed was already very fast in the eyes of others, but it was in fact the result of her constant suppression, otherwise she would probably already have advanced to peak phase sword sovereign by now. Your talent for alchemy is indeed strong. Ming Xiu also didn't expect Lu Muyan to actually be able to refine grade 6 pills, so at the same time as being surprised, there was also an indescribable pride. The fact that his array and smithing skills could reach grade 7 wasn't simply because of his excelling talent, but also because he had things to rely on. However, her alchemy skills was something that even he was amazed at with his identity. By the way, what level of magic tool is the ice bangle you gave me? Lu Muyan thought about it and still asked the question in her heart. Ming Xiu heard the words ice bangle and glanced at Lu Muyan's slender wrist. A smile like a spring breeze rose on his lips. I'm also not sure, but the ice bangle has been passed down as the most valuable treasure by my maternal clan, so it's at the very least a divine tool. He didn't want to show off to Lu Muyan how valuable the thing he gifted her was, but only hoped that she would better understand this ice bangle and activate its wonderful uses. Aren't you afraid of punishment for giving me the most valuable treasure of your maternal clan? Lu Muyan's brows were furrowed together slightly. This is what my mother gave me to give to her future daughter-in-law. Since I've decided on you, it's naturally yours. Ming Xiu didn't hide it either. The corner of Lu Muyan's lips twitched. I believe that the ice bangle was gifted to me when we first met, right? Could it be that you fell in love with this miss then? At the time, I only thought that you were rather interesting and didn't really truly like you. But there was a voice in my heart that told me to give it to you. Later it was proved that the judgment in my heart was correct. You're the woman I want to find to spend the rest of my life with. Ming Xiu's tone was sincere, and it was indeed from deep in his heart. Lu Muyan chuckled and teased, it seems that this miss is so exceptionally charming that you fell in love with me at first sight. Ming Xiu listened to her silver bell-like laughter and his heart fluttered. If it wasn't for the fact that the occasion wasn't suitable, he really wanted to pull her into his arms and hug her tightly. My woman is naturally exceptionally charming. You're truly enough. Lu Muyan found that Ming Xiu's romantic words made her more and more unable to resist. His skin was too thick. I said it according to my heart. The corners of Ming Xiu's lips rose again. Lu Muyan smiled and changed the topic. Do you know the uses of the ice bangle? I know a little. Ming Xiu said, The ice bangle is an ancestral item passed down on my maternal clan's side, and was only passed on to the daughter-in-law. Although it's been passed down for dozens of generations, but the person who can truly let it recognize as owner had never appeared. I heard from my mother that when the ice bangle is activated, it has the effect of promoting the growth of spiritual herbs. As for more of its usefulness, it'll only be known when it recognizes an owner. If the ice bangle recognizes an owner, as their cultivation base increases, more of it will also gradually be activated. There are bound to be unexpected surprises. Ming Xiu finished in one breath. Lu Muyen was stunned. What surprised her most was that the ice bangle had been passed down for so many generations and yet none of them were successfully recognized as owners. But she was obviously connected with the ice bangle, and the gentleness and kindness it spread towards her meant that it had recognized her as owner. Chapter 366. Fated. Seeing that Lu Muyan's eyes revealed a bit of a different look, with a thought, Ming Xiu flicked the sleeve of his left hand and a cyan-colored bangle similar to the ice bangle suddenly appeared on his wrist. I also have a cyan bangle which is a pair with the ice bangle, can you see it? One of them was ahead and one was behind as they rushed, and they constantly used divine sense telepathy. Lu Muyen lowered her eyes and saw the cyan bangle that suddenly appeared on Ming Xiu's wrist. I can see it. Can you hide it? Yen, it seems that we're really destined to be a fated couple. Ming Xiu's voice was filled with a rare excitement. The only man and woman who had been recognized as owners of the cyan bangle and the ice bangle at the same time are only the two of us. Is this pair of bangles made by someone from your maternal clan? Lu Muyen asked curiously. To be able to refine such powerful divine tools, or possibly even divine treasures, then how high was the level and talent of that smith? It said that an almighty in my maternal clan made it to gift to his beloved woman, but when he had finished refining this pair of bangles, his beloved died in an accident, and that almighty actually followed and buried himself together. The blood essence of the two people eventually merged into this pair of bangles, and they became tool spirits. He left a legacy before his death. The heir of the clan each generation can refine the cyan bangle and gift the ice bangle to the woman in his heart. If both of them can get the recognition of the bangles as owners, then they don't need to pass it on anymore. But if one party couldn't be recognized as owner, then they must be passed on to the next generation to continue the inheritance, until the day when the two bangles recognize the owners together. Ming Xiu said leisurely. Lu Muyen didn't expect the ice bangle to have such a story, so that's how it is. Who were their destined people? Ming Xiu smiled merrily and said, by the way, after your cultivation base reaches Sword Venerable, as long as you activate the second layer of the bangle, then you can hide it freely. Even a sword deity can't discover it. Looking at the tall, handsome man's back, Lu Muyen murmured softly. Judging from the level of the two bangles, they weren't only mysterious but also of high level, and they didn't look like something that this continent should have. Ming Xiu's identity also wouldn't be as simple as Monarch Ming of the Nine Layers Hall of Tianling continent either. The corner of Lu Muyan's lips hooked up. She knew that Ming Xiu hoped that she would get to know him little by little, so she naturally wouldn't disappoint his expectations. One day she would slowly reveal his true identity, and she liked to deepen her love for him in this way. How boring would it be if the secrets of the two were exposed and disclosed in front of each other just like this? She rubbed the ice bangle and felt its joy for her, and the curvature of the corners of her lips gradually deepened. She sure was looking forward to the surprises when the second layer of the ice bangle was activated. When the several people reached the top of the mountain, they saw the missing pupils of the 6 major sects all lying unconscious on a huge stone. They're actually really here. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect glanced at the abyss surrounded by dark evil force in the distance in fear. His gaze was complicated as he looked at the pupils lying on the boulder, then asked Ming Xiu, they let us find them this easily, could there be any tricks? They've tried this hard to lead us to come here, so their purpose definitely isn't pure. Everyone should be careful. Ming Xiu nodded and said, clap clap. Then a series of claps sounded and a handsome man in purple loomed out from behind the boulder. He looked at them with deep intent and said, the 6 major sects are indeed the top forces of Tianling continent. You've arrived much faster than I expected. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. With his appearance, all the men in black lurking in the vicinity came out. Who are you? What is your purpose of luring us here? Ming Xiu looked at the man and asked lightly. The purple-clothed man chuckled, naturally we're people who will take your lives. Then a man in black behind him leaned to his ear and said, Second Commander, the array has been activated. Good job. The purple-clothed man smiled and patted the shoulder of the person beside him, but then who would have expected that he grabbed that person's neck and said, "You should sacrifice yourself for the dark soul beast." As soon as the purple-clothed man's voice fell, Lu Muyen and the others saw that he had twisted the man's neck and even stabbed him, then tossed him in front of them. Blood flowed from the man's body and instantly a bloody scent spread throughout. A black light cover rose from the ground and tried to trap the pupils of the 6 major sects within it. Both Ming Xiu and Lu Muyen noticed the change. "Be careful. Hurry up and separate." After Ming Xiu reminded the others, he landed beside Lu Muyen in a flash, took her into his arms, and when he reappeared he was already beside the boulder while the others didn't have such reaction speed, so they were all trapped within the array. Of course, the two didn't hug each other any longer when they reappeared. At the moment of danger, the first thing that Ming Xiu thought of was Lu Muyen, and his actions moved with his mind as he took her away. In fact, Lu Muyen was also ready to escape, but Ming Xiu was a step faster and took her out of the range of the array. The scent of blood grew stronger and stronger, and the black light cover of the array rippled. A dark black beast suddenly emerged from below the ground and sucked out the soul of the dead man in black and swallowed it. What the hell is this thing? The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect saw the giant black beast that emerged from the hole, covered with eerie scales, its eyes not only as large as buckets, but also glowed with a green light. With only one look, it was truly terrifying. Jianghu rolled her eyes and while surprised she said without a good attitude, "The man just now said that he would make a sacrifice for the dark soul beast, so this monster must be the dark soul beast in legend that's said to be born from dark evil force and specifically devours the souls of humans and demonic beasts." The dark soul beast was a kind of soul beast cultivated by a devil cultivator. It was powerful and ferocious by nature, and the conditions for raising it were very strict. It must have been raised in a crypt with dark evil force. The growth of the dark soul beast was extremely sinister, and it must erode and devour the souls of demonic beasts and human swordmasters that only just died to be able to advance in cultivation base. Tsk. I didn't expect that there's a unique person in this group of trash. The man in purple casually glanced at the people trapped in the array, then locked his eyes on the peerless Ming Xiu. Because he saw how Ming Xiu moved to take Lu Muyen away from the array earlier, plus her average cultivation base, so she was directly ignored by him. In his eyes, Lu Muyen was a woman who used her beauty to cling to and rely on Ming Xiu. Those wandering cultivators and mercenaries who disappeared and died are the people you all lured and trapped in an array to let the dark soul beast to devour, yes? Ming Xiu's eyes were still indifferent, but his voice was piercingly cold, and our 6 major sects were also plotted against by you. Indeed. This dark soul beast is about to advance, but it lacked the energy it needed to advance. While you 6 major sects' prodigious pupils will be its greatest nourishment. The purple-clothed man revealed an eerie smile on his face. Chapter 367. Ignored. The dark soul beast raised and bred by the purple-clothed man and the others had already reached peak phase tier 7 and must devour enough tier 8 demonic beasts or venerable sword masters to be able to advance. The tier 8 demonic beasts were all hidden in secretive or dangerous places all over the continent, so the devil cultivators naturally wouldn't risk such huge dangers to find and kill them. First, tier 8 demonic beasts weren't stupid either, as if they would stay in one place to be caught, and second, even if they fell into an array they set up, it would only be one and would require a lot of time and energy. Such a deal was definitely a loss. Meanwhile, human sword masters were different. They planned to lure elite pupils from various sects, and with one array they would be trapped, and the dark soul beast only needed to devour and refine the pupils' soul essences. It would definitely advance to tier 8 in a year. If you want to turn us into nourishment for the dark soul beast, you also need to have that ability. Ming Xiu raised an eyebrow. Jun Luochen's voice sounded in Lu Muyan's sea of consciousness. "Little girl, that dark soul beast is a great supplement to me. As long as I devour it and refine it, my main soul will be completely consolidated and stabilized." "You mean you want me to give you that dark soul beast to nourish you?" Lu Muyan rolled her eyes. Hee, don't worry, after my main soul consolidates, there'll naturally be plenty of benefits for you. Jun Luochen said. He could do nothing else. His main soul was on the verge of collapse, so even if he turned from a devil cultivator to a ghost cultivator, he wouldn't be able to easily do it. But as long as he devoured this dark soul beast, he could completely consolidate his spirit soul and he could even help Lu Muyen deal with high-level sword masters when it came time. Lu Muyen weighed the pros and cons inwardly. Although there were great hidden dangers lurking in saving this devil lord, but the benefits also existed. In the future she would also ascend to Guanling World, and it would also be an extremely interesting event to take the Devil Lord and Mo Yen to slaughter their way back to retrieve the things that originally belonged to them. Sure. You'll get this dark soul beast that delivered itself to our door for you to devour. You'll help me do 3 things in the future. Lu Muyen added after a bit, of course I won't get you to die. The corner of Jun Luochen's lips twitched. Since he became a Devil Lord for so many years, no one had dared to speak to him with such a tone. Lu Muyen really was the first. All right. I promise you. Swear with a heart demon. Lu Muyen said. Jun Luochen gritted his teeth and asked, You don't believe me? Do you think that I, a righteous faction's pupil, will believe you, a devil race person? Not to mention that you're the former Devil Lord. Lu Muyen said casually. Her nature was actually rather cold, and only those who had truly entered her heart would she give her full trust to. This Devil Lord was obviously not included. The heart demon oath was very vicious and no human nor demonic beast dared to violate it. Unless the person who made the oath didn't want to advance, otherwise once they violated the oath they made on their heart demon, then a shadow of a soaring devil from beyond the highest heavens would cause trouble at critical moments of advancement. Not only would they fail to advance successfully, they may even lose their intelligence and become a mere puppet. Jun Luochin choked. Although he cooperated with Lu Muyen, but he didn't trust her entirely either. The relationship they established wasn't very reliable, and was only just using each other. All right. I swear by my heart demon. Jun Luochin swore without hesitation. At this time, the man in purple had already activated the array and circles of black cyclones appeared in the array. The pupils of the 6 major sects only felt that the essence of their bodies were fading little by little. Although slow, but it was enough to make them terrified. Chishio, save us quickly. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect shouted anxiously. The purple-clothed man raised a sinister arc on his lips, pointed at Mingxiu and instructed the men in black around them, treat him well. Obviously in his eyes Mingxiu wasn't qualified to let him act. Can you break that array? Mingxiu turned to Lu Muyen and asked. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. Lu Muyen nodded, I can. If she no longer hid her talent and strength in arrays, then it wasn't difficult for her to quickly break the array. He'll hold these devil cultivators back, you go and rescue them first. Mingxiu's eyes were filled with trust. All right. Lu Muyen held a golden longsword and walked towards the array. However, the men in black all ignored her existence along the way and directly attacked Mingxiu. I'm actually ignored by them. The corner of Lu Muyen's lips twitched, looked at Mo Yen on her shoulder and asked, I'm that bad? Mo Yan's indifferent eyes were filled with smiles. Didn't you like to act as an innocent pig to eat tigers the most? Isn't this perfect for you? But it doesn't feel good to be ignored by everyone. Lu Muyen shrugged and joked. The purple-clothed man naturally saw Lu Muyen's actions but ignored it. What a joke. A girl with only sword sovereign cultivation base had the ability to break a grade 5 array? Yes. This time they arranged a grade 5 array on the top of the mountain. After all, the pupils of the 6 major sects that were trapped were basically all sword venerables. If it were a grade 4 array and there was an array master among them, then it would be impossible to trap them to death. Meanwhile grade 5 arrays were different. Even a sword saint swordmaster powerhouse wouldn't be able to break it quickly. Lu Muyen walked to the array and took out an array compass as she squatted down for a look while Mingxiu slayed all the men in black who besieged him. The man in purple didn't expect that Mingxiu would have such power, then snorted coldly, Let me clean up a thorn like you today. After speaking, in a flash he met Mingxiu's sword aura that he swung over. Mingxiu deliberately moved his position, keeping the purple-clothed man away from the vicinity to let Lu Muyen display her abilities. The two fought fiercely near Dark Evil Cliff. Try attacking this point. Lu Muyen pointed to a point in the corner of the array and raised her head to say to the people inside. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect sneered, A little child who knows no limits, do you think you can become a high-level array master because you're holding an array compass? This is a grade 5 array. If you know your limits, then get out of the way. They were all trapped in this array that could devour essence, so if they used elemental energy, it would speed up the devouring of the array. If they really listened to this 8 extreme sect girl, then they would be fools. Lu Muyen's eyes turned cold and her entire temperament changed. She looked sharply at the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect and said coldly, Shut up if you don't want to die. If it weren't that the pupils of the 8 extreme sect were also trapped in the array, she wouldn't rescue these vast mountain sect people at all. Of course, she noted down his words to tell her to get out of the way. You dare to speak to me like this. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect didn't expect the girl outside to be so bold and tough, but the other party's gaze made him tremble. Lu Muyen was too lazy to pay attention to him. Now wasn't the time to be bickering. She shifted her gaze to Gu Xiao and Han Yi, then said lightly, "Just do as I say if you want to escape." If these people believed her, then she would naturally break the array with all her strength, but if they didn't, then she would be too lazy to care. This array was a soul-locking array. The key point was to lock the souls of the people trapped. It was best to attack and break the array from within. It would take an hour to break through the array if they relied on her strength. By that time, the people inside would have lost at least a third of their essence. But if they attacked from the inside and outside, then it would only take an incense stick of time. It all depended on whether the people trapped in the array believed her or not. Chapter 368. Break the soul-locking array. Lu Muyen played with the array compass in her hand and looked at Gu Xiao and Han Yi without much hurry. "Junior sister Lu, how confident are you in breaking this array?" Gu Xiao's question represented the voice of everyone here. If they used elemental energy to break the array according to the position pointed out by Lu Muyen, then what if the array wasn't broken but their elemental essence was lost a lot faster? They must be careful about things that might not be worth the loss. 100%. Lu Muyen said calmly and confidently. What arrogance! The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect sneered disdainfully. Today, even if a grade 5 array master of my sect came, they wouldn't dare say they have 100% confidence of breaking this array, let alone you, some random child from somewhere. Lu Muyen was too lazy to pay attention to him. She folded her arms and looked at the people inside indifferently. If you listen to me, you can come out within an incense stick of time. If you don't believe me, then you can go play in the array yourselves. You can break this array in just an incense stick of time? How's that possible? The medicine sect's leading pupil asked in disbelief. Lu Muyen narrowed her eyes, smiled ever so sweetly, then her face instantly turned cold. Believe it or not, up to you. They'll count to 3. If you haven't decided yet, just stay in the array and enjoy the disappearance of your essence. Everyone was stunned when they watched her face flip faster than flipping a book. 1, 2, 3. Lu Muyen counted from 1 to 3 without the slightest hesitation and immediately prepared to turn and leave. Junior sister Lu, wait. Gu Xiao's voice sounded urgently. Lu Muyen turned around and looked at the people playfully. If you're a man, be clear-cut. Just give a sentence if you want me to break the array or not. Couldn't one be cautious as a man now? I believe junior sister Lu. Jean Sei smiled enchantingly, then a long sword appeared in her hand. The several people looked at each other, gritted their teeth and said, "We believe in junior sister." At this time, Ming Xiao and the purple-clothed man were fighting so hard that they had yet to decide the outcome. What surprised them the most was that man's cultivation base was already half-foot into Sword Saint, so it would be very difficult to defeat or kill him. Han Yi also said immediately, instead of being trapped to death and being drained of essence, it's better to give it a shot. Junior sister Lu, we will listen to you. Although the pupils of the Heavenly Secret Palace and the Medicine Sect didn't believe that Lu Muyen could break through the array, but they could only grit their teeth when they felt the essence being lost from their bodies. You actually believe this, child? The pupils of the vast mountain sect looked at the other sect's pupils in disbelief and asked, so what if you don't believe it? Qi Xiao and that devil cultivator wouldn't be able to decide the outcome in a short time. Instead of sitting still, might as well fight to the death. Otherwise, when our essence is drained by this array, we'll all become dried corpses. Han Yi snorted coldly. He also disliked the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect this time. Seeing that the several people were still discussing, Lu Muyen furrowed her willow brows and said impatiently, "Do you still want to break it or not? Or should I come back after you've discussed it?" These men were just so fussy when doing things. If they didn't break the array, they'd definitely die. Now that they had a chance to attack the array to help her break the array and be left with a sliver of hope, she didn't know what they were so worried about. Break. Although Gu Xiao didn't know much about Lu Muyen, but he knew her temperament. If they continued to delay, then she'd definitely turn and leave. Are we just attacking this place? Lu Muyen nodded, took out a black array flag and planted it on the ground. Just attack the position of this array flag. Don't hold back. If you have fire elemental energy, then try to use your fire elemental energy. All right. Although they didn't hold much hope, but the pupils of the several major sects all took out their magic tools, ready to bombard the weak point of the array as Lu Muyen said. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. A pupil of the vast mountain sect said to their leader, "Senior brother, instead of waiting to die, might as well try." Let's attack. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect's expression darkened, and he took a deep breath. After Lu Muyen gave her order, the pupils of the 6 major sects who were trapped all took out their magic tools to attack the weak point she pointed out. She wasn't idle either. She took out an array-breaking array flag and kept changing positions as she formed seals to continuously insert into the array flag. Try a bit harder and it'll break. Lu Muyen said to the people trapped inside after stabilizing the arranged array. With a thought, 10 golden flying swords appeared in unison and attacked that weak point with a slam. It had already come to this point. The pupils of the 6 major sects could only listen to Lu Muyen's command. They no longer hid their strength and channeled 100% of their power to attack the array. An incense stick of time had yet to pass when everyone heard a boom boom. Then a golden light flickered, and 10 golden flying swords broke through the black light curtain bit by bit from the weak point. Quick, let's help her together. Gu Xiu shouted with joy on his face. There was an unspeakable excitement on the face of others, and they continued to wave their magic tools to bombard the array. After a while, the black light cover was completely blown away and collapsed with attacks from the inside and outside. Piu! As soon as the array was broken, the man in purple who was fighting Ming Xiu suddenly spurted out a mouthful of blood. He hurriedly covered his chest and stepped back dozens of meters, looking at Lu Muyen grimly. I didn't expect you, a damn girl, to break my soul-locking array. You deserve to die. Lu Muyen looked at him without fear and raised an eyebrow. Haven't you heard that one cannot judge others by appearance, just as the sea cannot be measured by a bushel? Your mistake is that you underestimated the enemy. Then she immediately walked towards the direction of the fight between the two, her voice clear, carrying endless coldness. Whether I deserve to die or not, I don't know, but today you definitely wouldn't live. In her life, she hated the words "you deserve to die" the most. This man completely violated her baseline. Absurdly arrogant. The purple-clothed man's face was filled with sullenness. I'll end you now. This woman broke his soul-locking array, causing all his plans to completely fail. To think he completely ignored her earlier, he truly regretted it. Had he known earlier, he should have killed her with one palm before dealing with this man that was like a fallen immortal. Your opponent is me. Ming Xiu dodged and blocked in front of the purple-clothed man who wanted to attack Lu Muyen. The purple-clothed man looked at Ming Xiu with fear. He was already half-stepped to Sword Saint, but not only did he not have the slightest advantage in battle with this man who was only at peak phase Sword Venerable, but he even felt as if he would lose, which made him feel a little desire to retreat. Dark Soul Beast, kill that woman. The purple-clothed man looked at the pupils who came out of the array, still unwilling to miss this opportunity to raise the Dark Soul Beast. The Dark Soul Beast that was lying on the ground lazily, waiting for the array to run and feed it, couldn't sit still when it saw the array was broken. Now hearing owner's order, it rushed towards Lu Muyen with a roar. Careful. When Gu Xiu and the others saw that the size of the Dark Soul Beast instantly increased dozens of times, and a deep, dark, sharp claw grabbed towards Lu Muyen, they couldn't resist holding their breath and shouting. Ming Xiu's gaze grew cold, and he was about to step back to rescue her when he heard Lu Muyen's telepathic voice. I can deal with the Dark Soul Beast, you go kill the purple-clothed man. The man in purple should be the second boss she heard from the several people before. If he wasn't killed today and they let him return to report, it would definitely be a hidden danger. Ming Xiu halted in his steps, then responded, all right. Chapter 369. Just as she desired. When Ming Xiu heard Lu Muyen's confident telepathic words, he immediately retracted his steps and looked at the man in purple with cold eyes. He didn't immediately deal with this person before because 1. He didn't want to reveal too much strength, and 2. He wanted Lu Muyen to obtain the 6 major sects pupils' favor of rescuing them. Now that the man controlled the Dark Soul Beast to attack his woman, he was already a dead person in his eyes. With the array broken, he didn't need to be polite anymore. A giant golden sword fell in his hands. Unlike the natal magic tool that Lu Muyen used the Heavenly Frost Golden Essence 1 to refine, Ming Xiu's natal magic tool was obviously of a higher level. The golden sword swept in an arc and a dazzling golden light like sunlight fell straight down, instantly enveloping the man in purple. At the same time, the sharp claws of the Dark Soul Beast also fell atop of Lu Muyen's head. She didn't dodge. Her lips curled up in a vague arc and a faint orange light covered her hands. Since she obtained the orange blaze, she no longer hid the fact that she had a spirit flame, which was perfect to cover up the aura of the purple-gold spirit flame. Boom! Just when everyone thought Lu Muyen would be torn to pieces by the claws of the Dark Soul Beast, they saw that she not only didn't retreat but instead advanced. A fist with soft orange light slammed out and faced the black-scaled claws of the opponent directly. There was a kind of horror in the eerie green eyes of the dark soul beast. It didn't expect that the weak woman opposite could not only withstand its sharp claws, but also beat a destructive flame into its body through that punch. Ao. The piercing pain made it wail. A cluster of orange flames flew up along its claws endlessly and stopped when it landed at its demonic soul. Seeing this, Lu Muyen leapt up immediately, punching the weak point of the dark soul beast's body one after another. Her figure constantly flashed in the air, and each time they appeared, the dark soul beast would inevitably receive attacks of fist wind. Ao. Where was the domineering aura that the dark soul beast had when it first appeared before? It kept dodging. Each time it was bombarded, it would make a miserable cry, obviously beaten horribly by Lu Muyen. Ditch, that woman's actually a body cultivator. A pupil of the vast mountain sect couldn't resist swallowing while watching the one-sided abusive beating in mid-air. Heavens! Junior sister Laos actually so violent. Peng Yang felt a chill on his back and decided inwardly that he would never provoke Lu Muyen. Gu Xiu went to the competition space, so he knew how strong Lu Muyen's body was, but he didn't expect that towards the dark soul beast with an immortal body and a body whose toughness was comparable to a tier 8 demonic beast, she would not be outmatched. It truly blinded one's eyes. Jean Essius' eyes lit up, filled with admiration and excitement. Mighty junior sister. The pupils of the other sects dared not underestimate her ever since Lu Muyen broke the grade 5 soul-locking array in just an incense stick of time. Now, seeing such a violent fighting style of hers, at the same time as it was eye-opening, a deep fear arose. All the leading pupils here, like Gu Xiu, found out the identity of the other party's pupils when they were at the inn. They knew that Lu Muyen was the number 1 in the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony, but they really didn't expect her combat power to be so strong. Ao. The dark soul beast was in stabbing pain all over. It now found that this woman's fist was too powerful. Not only did it carry a kind of sword aura fist wind, but it also used spirit flames to protect the fist. If the spirit flame in its body wasn't forced out soon, it would probably be the end for it today. Suddenly, it stared with its eerie green eyes and looked at the purple-clothed man covered in golden light. The connection between owner and servant was completely cut off. It was overjoyed. It would no longer have to be controlled by that person in the future. With another punch, the dark soul beast was blasted more than 10 meters away. Its eyes turned in thought, then borrowing the force of that retrogression, it turned and ran away into the distance. Wanna run? Not that easy. Lu Muyen huffed coldly and turned into a red light to chase after it. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. Inwardly she couldn't help but praise this dark soul beast. It truly knew what she wanted. She was just thinking about how to avoid the eyes of the pupils of the 6 major sects and let Jun Luochen absorb and refine the dark soul beast. But then it fled to the distance on his own, which was just as she desired. At this time, Lu Muyen's flash steps was at its completion, so she soon caught up with the dark soul beast in a deserted dense forest. With a thought, clusters of orange flames formed a flaming ribbon and flew out, instantly tying the dark soul beast upright. Jun Luochen, you're still not going to come out for the supplement? Lu Muyen shouted. Before she could even finish, a black smoke emerged from her pendant around her neck, instantly enveloping the dark soul beast. Not long after, Lu Muyen heard a desperate, shrill scream from the dark soul beast, then its body continued to shrink. When it was only the size of a palm, it was swept up by the black smoke and brought into her pendant. You finished devouring it just like this? Lu Muyen asked Jun Luochen. Jun Luochen in the pendant was still hidden in a black mist, his figure looming. Not so fast, but it's been sealed by me. I'll enjoy it slowly. Whatever you like. Since Lu Muyen had reached a cooperation with him, she naturally didn't care when he refined that dark soul beast. After Jun Luochen brought the dark soul beast into the pendant, she disappeared in the dense forest in a flash. When she returned to the top of the mountain, the man in purple had been killed by the golden light sword aura of Ming Xiu as expected. Junior sister Lu, are you all right? Gu Xiu sighed with relief when he saw Lu Muyen return safely. If something happened to this little ancestor here, he would definitely be stripped alive of a layer of skin by Elder Ao and the sect leader. I'm fine. Lu Muyen smiled. Where's the dark soul beast? Han Yi asked curiously, looking behind her. Because the dark soul beast was a living creature produced by refining the souls of humans or demonic beasts, so no matter which level it advanced to, it wouldn't be able to transform into a human. Moreover, the body of the Yin Soul Beast was actually made of endless dark evil force, which created the indestructible body, that is, It couldn't be killed by ordinary sword auras or magic tools. Lu Muyen came back, but the dark soul beast disappeared. They wondered if she had killed it or not. Ran away. Lu Muyen shrugged and said helplessly. She chased out aggressively just now and returned after a long time. Now that she said the dark soul beast ran away, no one would believe such an excuse. You didn't take the dark soul beast all for yourself, did you? The excuse that it ran away is too fake. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect thought and said. Even though the dark soul beast was conceived by a devil cultivator, but it was also of great help to sword cultivators who cultivated a righteous path. If one used its blood essence to refine one's body, it would be half the effort with double the results. Lu Muyen was prepared to find trouble for this pupil of the vast mountain sect to begin with, but who knew had come out first? She sneered. Her figure was like a ghost, disappearing in front of everyone, using her flash steps. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect only felt that her eyes were too threatening. Then after seeing her disappear, an ominous feeling rose in his heart that he had never felt before. His neck suddenly felt a chill. When Lu Muyen appeared in front of everyone again, she suddenly stood on the side of the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect and choked his neck with one hand. I didn't expect you to be so tall and big but have such a thin neck. I wonder if it'll make a sound of broken bones if it's crushed. Lu Muyen's stunning face bloomed with a smile as beautiful as a poppy. I like hearing the sound of bones cracking the most. How about everyone? One for a while now, perhaps the last dozen or so times it was mentioned, the author's actually been using extreme frost golden crystal, as opposed to heavenly frost golden crystal. But I'm going to keep it as heavenly since that's what the author used when it was first mentioned. Whether the author corrected it and intends to use this new one from now on or the author forgot what was used prior, he'll take the liberty to keep heavenly instead of changing it to extreme. The author did make a few mistakes before when the NAND heavenly frost golden essence was first mentioned using the word instead of, but it's always been corrected. However, from the looks of it, the author might be using the word from now on. But he'll be translating it to heavenly still. Chapter 370, beat to the ground. Seeing that Lu Muyen's body technique made her move like a ghost as she suddenly grabbed the neck of the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect, smiling beautifully and movingly, but say such words that made one's scalp numb. The pupils of the several sects didn't know how to describe their mood at this time. Junior sister, I haven't heard the sound of a broken neck before, how about you give it a try? Jianghu smiled enchantingly, lest the world not be chaotic. Demonists, the women of the 8 extremes sect were all lunatics. At this time, the pupils of the several sects secretly made up their minds to never ever offend the pupils of the 8 extremes sect. Jianghu beat up a pupil of the vast mountain sect half to death last time. This beauty named Lu Muyen looked even more ruthless. Why you dare? The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect only felt that Lu Muyen's hand was clasping tighter and tighter. He couldn't breathe as fear rose in his heart. Our 6 sects are here to complete a mission. You can't kill me. Lu Muyen's lips curled into a smile, her voice soft. Oh yeah, and now we're completing a 6 sects joint mission, so I indeed can't kill you. She took her hand away from the pupil's neck, took out a piece of silk from her sleeve, wiped it and tossed it away. Seeing this, the leading pupil's eyes were filled with anger, but he didn't say anything harsh. But although I can't kill you, it doesn't mean I can't beat you up. Lu Muyen curbed her smile, then huffed coldly. I've been thinking you're very unpleasant to my eyes for a long time. Since you want to send yourself to my door to beat you up, then you're also looking for it. You, the vast mountain sect's leading pupil froze and didn't think that Lu Muyen's face would flip so quickly. He only said one word when a punch landed in his face. Lu Muyen didn't cover her hands with spirit flames. She couldn't kill during a 6 sects mission. If she killed or crippled him, it would inevitably lead to deeper conflicts between the 2 sects. But it was still very necessary for him to be beaten half to death and lie down for at least 2 months. The vast mountain sect was a sect that focused on body refining to begin with. When Lu Muyen threw the first punch, the pupil hadn't reacted, but when she threw the second punch, the pressure of his whole body exploded, and his body swelled rapidly. He caught Lu Muyen's fist with his palm and sneered proudly, "Do you really think you can hurt me? My cultivation base is an entire stage higher than yours." Being able to become the inner pupil of the vast mountain sect and the leader of this mission, he naturally wasn't some useless person. Lu Muyen's eyes curled with fighting intent. Really? Then after I beat you to the point where you can't even get up, let's see if you have the face to say such things. Humph, bold words, you are too arrogant. The leading pupil was furious. I'm just arrogant, what can you do to me? Lu Muyen narrowed her eyes and smiled brightly. Then, she disappeared in a flash, and everyone only saw her figure constantly appearing around the pupil of the vast mountain sect. It even seemed that dozens of figures were punching and bombarding him at the same time. Junior sister's movements are really amazing. Jinsei looked at Lu Muyen with amazement. A rare smile appeared on Ping Yang's face. Her body is even stronger than that of the pupils of the vast mountain sect. This junior sister really hides well. Gu Xiu had seen Lu Muyen beat people up on the crystal wall in the competition space. He used to think she was too violent, but now he felt very pleased watching her beat up the pupil of the vast mountain sect. He wasn't the only one who thought this way. The several pupils of the 8 Extremes sect all felt that Lu Muyen's beating was very good. Standing not far away, hugging the golden sword in his arms, Ming Xiu watched Lu Muyen beat him up with a smile in his eyes. Even he didn't notice the doting within them. At the beginning, the leading pupil could still take a few fists from Lu Muyen, but as time went on, her ghostly figure became faster and faster, and his reaction was always a beat slower. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. And what did it mean when one's reaction was slower one beat during a battle? If it wasn't death, then it was to be beaten. Screams after screams came from his mouth. After a while, everyone saw Lu Muyen beating the vast mountain sect's pupil to the ground. He no longer had the strength to fight back and only kept screaming. But she was relentless. She didn't use any elemental energy and merely punched the opponent's weak spot punch after punch, which would not only cause the opponent to hurt for 2 months, but absolutely no injuries could be seen either. Seeing this, the other pupils of the vast mountain sect all took a deep breath and glanced at each other. If their senior brother was beaten to death by Lu Muyen, and they returned all unharmed, they would probably be severely punished by the sect. Junior sister Lu, aren't you belittling the vast mountain sect too much by doing this? A pupil, enduring the gaze of many people, walked up to Lu Muyen and said bravely. Lu Muyen stopped what she was doing, stepped on the pupil's back and crushed it heavily. She turned her head and looked at the person who opened their mouth with a smile, and raised an eyebrow as she asked, "Why do you want to take his place?" Ha! That pupil shrank his neck. Even senior brother wasn't this demoness opponent, he'd be crazy to take his place and be beaten. What I mean is, our 6 sects came to complete a mission together. It'll be hard to explain if you beat our senior brother to death when we return. You would also need to explain when you return to the sect. How about you just let him go? He was also telling the truth. If Lu Muyen really killed the leading pupil of their vast mountain sect this time, she would definitely be severely punished when she returned. After all, in the past, the pupils of the 6 major sects only killed each other in places like secret realms where people wouldn't be able to see each other. It was absolutely forbidden to kill each other in public. Lu Muyen smiled beautifully. Who said I'm going to kill him? I just want to learn some body refining skills from this senior brother. We're just exchanging pointers. Are your eyes not that good that you can't even see that? She had a smile on her face, but her voice was as cool as the night. Exchanging pointers, of course it's exchanging pointers. That pupil looked down at his senior brother's tragic state and decided that it was still best not to offend this demoness, otherwise he'd be the one who would turn into a pig's head. Lu Muyen gave him a look as if to say he was wise and said with a smile, "Senior brother's eyes are indeed good. You can take him away." She retrieved her foot and sighed with disappointment. "I thought I could learn a little more, but who knew that he's that weak, truly a disappointment." Hearing her words, the corners of the other sect's pupils' lips couldn't help but twitch. Did you think that everyone's as abnormally monstrous as you? The pupils of the vast mountain sect finally sighed with relief when they heard her words. They quickly fed a healing pill to the leading pupil to cure his internal injuries and helped the already comatose person to the side, far away from Lu Muyen, for fear that the moment she became unhappy, she'd come back to make up a few kicks. Junior sister beat him up well. They're just scumbags who need a lesson. Jinsei swept the pupils of the vast mountain sect with a sharp gaze and said with a smile. Lu Muyen beating up that person made them very happy, and her affection for her rose a little more. Senior sister is right. Fists are the hard truths. Lu Muyen returned with a smile. The other pupils really wanted to just kneel for these 2 peerlessly beautiful women with different temperaments who were discussing such violent things. The 8 Extremes sect really was a place where demonesses all came out from, each of them extremely fierce. Brother Qi, the missing pupils of the several major sects have already been found. Should we head back to the sect to report this matter? Gu Xiu immediately stepped forward to ask Ming Xiu in order to distract the others' attention from Lu Muyen. Ming Xiu waved his hand and said with a smile, "This matter has come to an end. You can all leave first if you want to go back and hand in the mission." Chapter 371. Anomalous phenomena appears. The pupils of the several major sects had their own thoughts when they heard that there was something more in Mingxio's words. Since the mission has been completed, our vast mountain sect will take our leave first. A pupil of the vast mountain sect cupped his hands and said to the pupils of the other sects, no matter what the heavenly secret palace wanted to do, they had no intention of getting involved. Their vast mountain sect had suffered the most this time, and they were simply unable to continue to complete missions. The most important thing right now was to bring their senior brother and their unconscious pupils back to the sect. All right, be careful along the way. Mingxiu nodded with a light smile. After the pupils of the vast mountain sect left, the pupils of the other sects were also a little unable to stand still. Han Yi had a more direct temperament, so he leaned over to Mingxiu and asked with a smile, Brother Qi, you want to stay here? Yes. Our heavenly secret palace isn't going to leave right now. Mingxiu didn't deny either. Brother Qi, how about telling us what your plans are? Han Yi continued to ask, and the other pupils pricked up their ears to listen. Mingxiu looked in the direction of the dark soul beast and said, although one leader of the devil cultivators has been killed by us, but we don't know if there are any more other devil cultivators still hiding in Falling Ghost River, and that dark soul beast also escaped. I'm afraid it might continue to make trouble, so I'm prepared to go look for it then return to the sect. So that's how it is. Since that's the case, it wouldn't be good for us to leave. Let's investigate the devil cultivators together. Han Yi pondered for a while before saying, sure. Mingxiu didn't refuse either. Han Yi's reaction was as he expected. The pupils of the sword sect didn't leave, while the pupils of the other sects were naturally unable to leave immediately upon hearing them, and they all expressed that they wanted to remain to investigate. All the missing pupils of the 6 major sects were now rescued. This time, the 5 remaining sect pupils didn't split up, and instead searched together in the mountains. Lu Muyen glanced to the cliff at the top of the mountain, and saw that the sky above the cliff was shrouded in a layer of dark mist while a chill emerged from the bottom of the cliff. She furrowed her willow brows and asked Jun Luochen in the pendant, do you know that dark evil cliff? My main soul had always been in the land of inheritance before, so I don't know much about this interface. Jun Luochen paused, then said, however, the dark evil force spreading from that dark evil cliff is extremely strong. It's difficult for even a devil cultivator to deeply cultivate in it. You'd better not target the dark evil cliff. Although you have your spirit flame, but your cultivation base is too low. If you forcefully go to the bottom of the cliff, you may lose your consciousness in the dark evil force. He added. Lu Muyen chuckled and asked meaningfully, why do you think I'm interested in the dark evil cliff? When have you, woman, ever lived in peace? Although the dark evil cliff is very dangerous, but there would definitely birth many good things at the bottom of the cliff. Jun Luochen joked, with your temperament, it's already pretty good that you can endure until now and not go. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes, you sure know me well. She really did have that thought. There must be a lot of spiritual herbs suitable for refining high-level pills, as well as spiritual items, under the cliff with dense dark evil force. Most importantly, if she infused the dark evil into her body to temper her muscles and bones, her sorcerer's skill she cultivated could definitely grow stronger a layer, and it would be much easier to break through the bottleneck. It was just that with her current cultivation base she indeed couldn't enter into the bottom of the dark evil cliff, and this matter still needed long-term planning. Don't tell me you really wanted to go down? Jun Luochen's voice revealed surprise. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, rubbish of course. But not now. I'll try it when I advance to Sword Venerable. Lu Muyen said carefreely. The corner of Jun Luochen's lips twitched and he said speechlessly, you're a crazy woman. If there was no special method to resist the erosion of the dark force, even if a sword saint came, they would be trapped in it. However, he remembered that he had seen many of Lu Muyen's methods while staying in the pendant. Maybe she really had a way to go down to the bottom of the cliff. After all, this woman shouldn't be seen as a normal person. He rubbed his chin and hooked his lips upwards in an anticipating arc. If this woman really came to the dark evil cliff to search for spiritual herbs, he could use the dark evil force there to completely transform his main soul into a ghost cultivator. Mingxiu led the pupils of the 5 sects to search around the dark evil cliff for 2 days, and they found no trace of the devil cultivators anymore. That one dark soul beast that had already entered Jun Luochen's stomach naturally couldn't be found. Then they inspected the other 2 mountains and found that there were still many wandering cultivators and mercenaries going missing, but the 5 sects didn't meet any devil cultivators, so the opponents must be avoiding them deliberately. 5 days later, Countless colorful rays of light suddenly fell from the sky above the falling ghost river, and a black light from the bottom of dark evil cliff shot straight into the sky. A spectacular scene. Anyone who wasn't far from falling ghost river all discovered the anomalous phenomenon. In a deep mountain, a man in black leaned against a big tree with his eyes closed, resting. When the anomalous phenomena appeared, he immediately opened his eyes, a gaze like blazing torches. Has it finally began to conceive and give birth? He murmured to himself, then disappeared in place. On the only path not far from the falling ghost river, a group of people were currently on their way. When they saw the countless rays of light falling from the sky, they were overjoyed. Your Royal Highness, the obsidian fluorite will soon be born. A white-haired elderly man said to the man in blue above. The blue-clothed man's deep eyes glowed with a deep blue light, and an arc raised on his lips. National Teacher's prediction ability is getting more and more accurate. It is not in vain that this king has been lurking in this small interface for a few years. This old servant will congratulate your Royal Highness first. The white-clothed elderly man's cultivation base was obviously much higher than the blue-clothed man on the surface, but he was very respectful to him. The blue-clothed man's gentle appearance didn't change at all. This time I heard that the 6 major sects have also sent a lot of elite pupils to come to complete a mission, and a lot of the devil cultivators lurking on Tianling continent have also been dispatched. I'm afraid it's not that easy for me to snatch the obsidian fluorite. The strength of the 6 major sects' elite pupils compared to our party is vastly different, and they are not our opponents. If those old fellows came, then we may need to be afraid a little. The white-clothed elderly man continued carefreely. As for the hidden devil cultivators, there may be high-level ones hiding, but this interface can suppress the strength of our cultivation base, so at the same time, they wouldn't be able to escape. I believe that the obsidian fluorite will eventually still fall into your Royal Highness' hands. The blue-clothed man had a determined smile on his lips. This king is only here for the obsidian fluorite, that's why I projected an avatar onto this small interface. Naturally, failure isn't allowed. He raised his eyes and looked at the falling ghost river not far away, and a strange feeling rose in his heart. The pupils of the 5 major sects had absolutely no idea that there were 2 waves of powerful enemies rushing to falling ghost river at this time, and they were all excited when they saw the anomalous phenomena. This kind of anomalous phenomena is the harbinger of the birth of a spiritual item. The leading pupil of the medicine sect said with bright eyes. Han Yi had a look of interest. I didn't expect that staying a few more days to investigate the devil cultivators would allow us to encounter such kind of good luck. I wonder what sort of spiritual item will be born to have such a strong anomalous phenomena appear. Gu Xiu's eyes were filled with anticipation. Chapter 372. 3 parties gathered. The pupils of the 5 major sects were all excited, and they began to be fearful and wary of each other. After all, if any high-level spiritual items were born, the pupils of their 5 sects would definitely not be able to cooperate as harmoniously as they were now, and they would inevitably contend for it. Brother Qi, do you think we should go to the falling ghost river? Han Yi asked Ming Xiu for advice with a smile. Hearing Han Yi's question, the other pupils also looked at Ming Xiu. Although this mission was a 6 major sects joint mission, but the heavenly secret palace was at the head of the 6 major sects. Ming Xiu was also the most powerful existence among them, so everyone basically considered him the leader. Of course we will go there. But there's something I need to make clear. Ming Xiu's smile was very light. The leading pupil of the medicine sect asked, Brother Qi, please speak. When we arrive at Falling Ghost River, if there really is some spiritual item born, everyone will snatch it on their own, and whoever snatches it will it be whose, but we are not allowed to kill each other. Ming Xiu swept the leaders of the several sects present with a sharp gaze. All right. The others replied without hesitation. What Ming Xiu said was exactly what the pupils of the several sects thought. After all, if there really was a peak-quality spiritual item being born, no one would want to give it to the people of the other sects. The smile on Lu Muyan's lips was even deeper. This was very good. The group didn't hesitate any longer and quickly rushed towards Falling Ghost River. When they arrived at Falling Ghost River, they saw countless colorful clouds hanging above the dark river water. The transparent black mist that was born was entwined in layers and a fragrant scent spread from the water. It was indescribably eerie. What kind of spiritual item is it that it actually triggers such anomalous phenomena? Gu Xiu looked at the anomalous phenomena opposite the river in surprise. Yeah, but don't you think it's strange? The leading pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect said solemnly. What's so strange? Ani asked. The pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect looked around and said, Each time a spiritual item is born, there will be no shortage of demonic beasts to snatch it wildly. At least there would be one powerful demonic beast to guard it, but right now we don't see anything. Hearing him say that, everyone also felt it strange, wondering if this wasn't actually the birth of a spiritual item? If they knew that there was already a tier 9 demonic beast sleeping underwater, I wonder if they would quickly escape right now. Mo Yan's light eyes flashed indifferently. Lu Mu Yan rubbed her chin and said, Tier 9 demonic beasts are a body of treasures, and their demonic core could refine a lot of pills. The eyes of Meow Meow and her other spirit pets couldn't help but light up when they heard this. There's a tier 9 demonic beast king in this river, so even if there is a spiritual item being born with this anomalous phenomena, the other demonic beasts wouldn't dare step into its territory to compete with him. Ming Xiu said leisurely. The 6 sects were on a mission together, so he wouldn't watch most of these people from the other sects go die, so he reminded them first. What? A tier 9 demonic beast? The others were startled. One must know that the strength of a tier 9 demonic beast was comparable to that of a sword saint powerhouse. Most importantly, a tier 9 demonic beast was capable of refining their own natal magic tool, could cultivate demonic methods, and the combat power exerted by many demonic beasts was even stronger than that of same-level sword saint powerhouses. Brother Qi, you mean to say that there are no demonic beasts gathered here mainly because of the deterrent effect of the tier 9 demonic beast underwater? Gu Xiu thought about it and asked. Ming Xiu nodded, yes. This water demon of Falling Ghost River is a king. Although he's still sleeping, but no demonic beast dares to set foot in its territory. Waking him up will only result in the path to death. That tier 9 demonic beast is probably sleeping here to guard the spiritual herb. Han Yi's expression changed again and again. If high-level spiritual items were discovered by demonic beasts before their birth, then they would stay where they were and not let other demonic beasts have the opportunity to take them away. The level of a spiritual herb that could be guarded by a tier 9 demonic beast was also at least earth rank. It was just a pity that their cultivation base was too low. If they wanted to snatch food from the tier 9 demonic beast, it was basically impossible. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, the pupils of the other sects also looked hopeless. The guardian demonic beast of tier 9 was something they simply couldn't match. How about we send a message to the sect and let the elders of sword saint level come over? The pupil of the medicine sect suggested. Ming Xiu thought about it then said, sounds good. Spiritual items were only born for a day at most, and it was useless even to wait for the elders of the 5 major sects to come. However, when the time came, it could also distract the attention of those old fellows. Hearing Ming Xiu's approval, the pupils of the 5 sects immediately took out their communication talismans and activated it. Then what do we do now? Ani asked. Wait. Ming Xiu just said one word. Half a day later, countless clouds fell over Falling Ghost River and dozens of black beams of light shot directly into the sky. The spiritual item is soon to be born. The pupils of the several major sects all stood up and looked not far away. Suddenly, a group of people in black emerged from the mountain forest on one side, and the leader was the person Lu Mu Yan and the others met last time. With just your abilities, you also want to compete for the obsidian fluorite? The black-clothed man in the lead had a stern expression, and his whole person exuded a chilling aura. Although his aura was restrained, one could still feel his powerful aura. Sword Saint Powerhouse. The pupils of the 5 major sects couldn't help sucking in a deep breath inwardly. Gu Xiu had a solemn expression, and he turned his head to Lu Mu Yan and the others, saying telepathically, this devil cultivator is an advanced phase sword saint. Run away when you see the opportunity. Jin Sei and the several people agreed one after another. An advanced phase sword saint wasn't an existence they could shake at all. They could kill them all with one move. Lu Mu Yan narrowed her eyes and telepathically said to Mo Yan, it seems that we'll need to use that secret skill to deal with what happens next. She had the ability to skip stage battle. She was now an advanced phase sword sovereign, so it wasn't a big problem to kill a peak phase sword venerable with all her strength, but if she was against a sword saint, then she could only be beaten. Of course, it was still possible to escape from the hands of a sword saint, but with her current strength she could only do as much. If she used Mo Yan's secret skill, however, she could barely just fight a sword saint. Your Honor, is Shen Mu Feng right? Ming Xiu looked at the man in black hugging his golden sword and didn't show a look of terror like the other pupils. The man in black casually raised his head and said, how did you know? Your Honor is ranked 10th on the most wanted rankings from the 6 major sects. As long as the pupils have accepted the mission to kill you, they will see your portrait. Ming Xiu said pointedly. Shen Mu Feng raised an eyebrow, So you've already accepted the mission of chasing and killing me? Indeed. Your honor's head is worth 100,000 sect contribution points, so I naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. Ming Xiu's thin lips parted lightly, his expression indifferent. The others looked at him in surprise when they heard what Ming Xiu said, wondering if he took the wrong medicine. He was indeed a sword venerable, and also heard that he had the ability to skip stage battle. The half-saint who was killed by him before was an example, but the one standing opposite was an advanced phase sword saint devil cultivator. If they were that easy to kill, the 6 major sects wouldn't have ranked him as the 10th person on their wanted rankings to pursue and kill. But was Ming Xiu a fool or took the wrong medicine? Obviously not possible. It seemed that they all underestimated the strength of this number 1 genius pupil of the Heavenly Secret Palace's inner sect. This was what the pupils of the 6 major sects all thought. Ha! Suddenly, a pleasant-sounding gentle male voice sounded from behind. It seems that I'm not too late, I arrived just in time to watch this good show. Chapter 373, Instigation. Hearing this gentle male voice, everyone looked behind. A handsome, warm-looking young man walked towards them with a team of people. He was wearing a blue robe, which made him look even more elegant and tall. His entire body carried a gentle feeling like a spring breeze, and it was easy for one to only care about his temperament and ignore his cultivation base. As soon as Lu Muyen turned around, she met the other's pair of blue eyes, which were deep and clear, like they were carved from the best spar in the world. Lan Si. Although the other party had changed a lot in both temperament and appearance, but she still recognized him at a glance. Lan Si saw Lu Muyen wearing a red robe that wrapped around her beautiful figure, still filled with the same elegance as when she wore her purple clothes, but with a little more of a valiant feeling. Little Yenner, I didn't expect us to meet again. Lan Si didn't show any surprise that Lu Muyen was a pupil of the 8 Extreme sect and appeared here. He knew her information well. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows slightly. I'm not that familiar with you. She knew that Lan Si's gentle and elegant skin was definitely a disguise, and his identity wasn't as simple from beginning to end. It now seemed that she had guessed correctly. We went to the glacial mountain range together to participate in the trial. Why is it that you turn around and become so alienated from me? It truly hurts my heart. Lan Si's handsome appearance was filled with grievances, as if he had been an abandoned little daughter-in-law. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes at him speechlessly and didn't reply. She didn't bother to care about this fox. Meanwhile, the people behind Lan Si twitched the corners of their mouths in complete astonishment. They had never seen His Royal Highness get along with any woman like this before. What? The sea race also wants to share some porridge? Shen Mu Feng's expression grew a little grim when he saw Lan Si bringing people here. If it was just a Ming Xiu, he would still have confidence in killing him and snatching the obsidian fluorite, but if the people of the sea race were included, then it would be a big problem. When Gu Xiu and the others heard Shen Mu Feng say sea race, their expressions changed instantly. There was a sea kingdom in the northernmost sea region of Tianling continent. There, it was a world of the sea race. The sea race was very strong, and they would fight with the human swordmasters every century. They obviously didn't expect that the people of the sea race who were so far away would actually come to the Falling Ghost River. They guessed that the spiritual item in the Falling Ghost River couldn't only be at Earth rank, and was most likely at Heaven rank. Otherwise the sword saints of the devil race and sea race wouldn't come here on purpose. Gu Xiu walked beside Lu Muyen and asked in a whisper, "You know the sword saint of the sea race?" "I do. He used to be an instructor lurking in the Empire Academy of Yanzhou Kingdom. I didn't expect him to be a member of the sea race either." Lu Muyen furrowed her brows deeply. She used to think that Lan Si had an extraordinary origin and that his cultivation base was deliberately sealed by himself, but she didn't expect him to be a member of the sea race. Most importantly, they hadn't seen each other for 2 years, but Lan Si's cultivation base had reached peak phase sword saint, and there were 2 sword saints and 5 sword venerables in the group of the sea race people behind him. It would be trickier to snatch the obsidian fluorite now. So it seems that Little Beauty and the people of the sea race have a very close relationship. An arc of a smile rose on Shen Mu Feng's stern face and he looked at Lu Muyen, saying, "I was just saying how I looked forward to meeting next time, but I didn't expect us to see each other so soon." Lu Muyen glanced at Shen Mu Feng coldly. Was this damned man trying to sow discord between her and the 5 major sects pupils? What did it mean by that she had a close relationship with the people of the sea race? What did he mean by looking forward to their next meeting? Wasn't this obviously saying that she was colluding with the sea race and the devil race? "Yeah. I've also been looking forward to seeing you." She smiled sweetly, but there was no warmth in her eyes, and she continued, "You're worth 100,000 contribution points. If I kill you, there'll be no shortage of cultivation resources when I return." Shenmu Feng was stunned for a moment, then laughed aloud. "Good. Since my life is that valuable, if you have the ability, then feel free to take it. Come and read on our website wuxialover site." Thanks, TSK Tisk. Little Yenner actually lacked sect contribution points that much. Lan Si walked lightly towards Lu Muyen, placed his face close and said, "How about I help you kill him?" Lu Muyen glanced at Lan Si coldly. A golden light emerged from her sleeve and Lan Si's pupils constricted as he dodged quickly. Boom! A huge tree behind him was immediately split in half by the golden light. "Stay far away from me," Lu Muyen said with disgust. Seeing a slender golden needle returning to her sleeve, Lan Si narrowed his eyes. "Little Yenner is so cruel. If I took a step too late, I would have become the dead soul under your needle." "Enough nonsense. Talk about your purpose." Lu Muyen rolled her eyes. Lan Si chuckled. "We naturally came for the obsidian fluorite. Shenmu Feng is also here for the obsidian fluorite. Can you beat him?" Lu Muyen blinked and said, "Since the pupils of our 5 sects aren't strong enough, then we won't bother. You guys can play slowly. The obsidian fluorite is about to be born. I wonder which side will get it first. It's truly enviable." She glanced at the two and added. Ming Xiu's eyes that were as deep as the sea swept across Lan Si with coldness. The projected avatar of the South Sea King from one of the 4 sea races? He saw the deep interest in Lu Muyen in Lan Si's eyes, and a killing intent rose in his heart. So what about the avatar of the South Sea King? If he dared to covet his woman, he would let Lan Si know that there were some people that he shouldn't think of. "Little Yenner, you sowing discord is too obvious. You want us to fight until we're both severely injured, then let you, the fisherman, benefit one?" Lan Si knew Lu Muyen's temperament very well. This little fox wanted to do something bad again. Lu Muyen looked at him with a look as if to say, "You've discovered the truth," and said, "That's exactly it. So are you going to fight? Could it be that you want to cooperate to divide up the obsidian fluorite? Actually, that's not a bad idea for the both of you." The pupils of the 5 major sects couldn't resist but twitched their eyelids when they heard her give them ideas. Just which side was she standing with? If the sword saints of the sea race really joined forces and eventually divided the obsidian fluorite, then wouldn't they be in danger? Shenmu Feng and Lan Si looked at Lu Muyen, who was smiling like a flower and couldn't help twitching the corners of their lips. She must have said this because she knew it was absolutely impossible for them to cooperate. "We devil race and the sea race have always been at odds with each other, so let's not cooperate." Shenmu Feng continued, "But little beauty, it'll also be impossible for you to profit as the fisherman. Then you can fight first, don't worry about us." Lu Muyen urged. "After the fight, you'll be eligible to compete for the obsidian fluorite." Both the sea race and the devil race wanted to swallow the obsidian fluorite for themselves. It was inevitable to fight. Right now, both sides had powerful sword saint powerhouses. She and Ming Xiu belonged to the disadvantageous group, so of course they must attack accurately with one shot. Lan Si and Shenmu Feng were both rather cautious and fearful of each other. Both of them were avatars projected onto this interface, and even if Lan Si's cultivation base was stronger, but they would still be a match when they fought. For the obsidian fluorite, they had no other choice but to fight. They both lurked on this small interface for the sake of the obsidian fluorite, so naturally no mistakes were allowed. "Lan Si, do you dare to fight me?" Shenmu Feng raised an eyebrow and asked. "What's there to not dare? Let me experience some methods of the devil race's holy son." Lan Si's fighting spirit was high. The devil race and the sea race confronted each other and both wanted to kill the other side first, then swallow the obsidian fluorite for themselves in a bit. Meanwhile, Lu Muyen and the pupils of the other 5 major sects were completely ignored by them. A group of sword venerable cultivation pupils only, they wouldn't care about them. Seeing how the two parties quickly fought together, the pupils of the 5 major sects were completely dumbfounded. The two teams really listened to Lu Muyen's instigation and started fighting. One, it comes from the well-known Chinese idiom, which means literally, when the snipe and clam grapple, it's the fisherman who stands to benefit. Chapter 374. Affected. In addition to Shenmu Feng, there were also 3 hidden sword saints among the devil cultivators. At this time, when the sword saints of the sea race were besieging them, they had to quickly show up to resist. The two sides immediately formed a battle circle. Each attack, each method of Shenmu Feng and Lan Si, carried the power of destroying the heavens and earth. The two slashed at each other and one side of the peak of the mountain was cut in half. Pringyang looked at the surrounding battlefield in shock and said to Gu Xiu, "They actually really started fighting because of what junior sister Lu said." Lu Muyen glanced at him and said, "It's not that they listened to my words and started fighting, but because they were bound to have this fight. It was just because of my words that they did it earlier." If she hadn't just asked Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si to compete with each other before the birth of the obsidian fluorite, then the two parties would probably have waited until the real birth of the obsidian fluorite to attack. No matter what, if a powerhouse died from one of the two parties, it would count as one powerhouse gone, so it would be beneficial to them. Pu. When the two sides fought because their cultivation base was too strong with just any sword auras, it would spread and affect the pupils of the 5 sects. Some of the weaker pupils couldn't help but spit out some blood when being shocked by the energy. "Brother Qi, what should we do now?" Han Yi pressed his lips together and looked at Ming Xiu. At this time the pupils of the 5 sects all pinned their hopes on Ming Xiu. Otherwise, if they just stood here and didn't move, they were afraid their lives would be affected. Ming Xiu didn't want the pupils of the 5 sects to fall here either, so he quickly took out a set of array flags and moved them to an open space far away from Falling Ghost River, then quickly arranged them. Then he waved his hand and thousands of low-quality spiritual stones fell into the soil around the array. His hands constantly changed and countless transparent runes flew out of his palms and entered the array. "Rise!" he shouted, and a solid defense array was successfully constructed. "You can all hide in the array," Ming Xiu said to the pupils of the several sects after arranging the array. Currently, among the pupils of the 5 sects, even the leaders like Gu Xiu were affected a lot. Their hearts and lungs were severely squeezed by the might of the sword saints, and they quickly leapt into the array. Only Lu Muyen stood unmoving. After all the pupils of the 5 sects entered the array, Ming Xiu recited a few words and a golden array flag spun up and slowly unfolded in midair. A layer of soft golden light fell into the array little by little, and the transparent runes and golden light merged to form an indestructible light cover. This was a grade 5 highest level defensive array. Even if a sword saint powerhouse used their full strength attack, it would take 3 days to blast it open, so it was more than enough to resist the aftermath of the battle between the sword saints. "Junior sister Lu, why are you still standing there? Come in quickly." After Jin Sei entered the array, she discovered that Lu Muyen was still far away, and shouted urgently. Gu Xiu and the others also looked at her anxiously and said, "Junior sister Lu, come in quickly." Hearing the voices of the several people, Lu Muyen turned around and saw their anxious expressions. A hint of warmth rose in her heart. She smiled and said, "I want come in. I have something to do." "You're crazy. Even we can't resist the residual energy of the Sword Saints battle. Come in quickly." Gu Xiu's expression was cold and stern. In his eyes, Lu Muyen was just mucking around. Ming Xiu chuckled, "Junior sister Lu is standing here unscathed right now, proving that she isn't afraid of the effects of the battle between Sword Saints. Brother Gu doesn't need to worry." Now wasn't the time to expose his relationship with Lu Muyen, so they pretended not to be very familiar with each other. Senior brothers and senior sisters, don't worry. I know my limits." Lu Muyen turned on her elemental energy shield and said to the several people calmly, "Come and read on our website wuxialover site." Thanks, the several people didn't have a deep relationship with her, but from their recent interactions, they also knew that this junior sister's temperament appeared gentle and soft on the surface, but she was actually very headstrong and indifferent. No one could change her decision. "Then be careful. Come in quickly if something happens," Gu Xiu said with slight worry. He, himself, admired Lu Muyen, this person. Her talent and temperament were all extraordinary that even he, as a proud child of heaven, had to admire her. She was already a grade 5 array master before she was even 20 years old. Among the 6 major sects, such talent was probably only attained by Ming Xiu, and he also had the heart to love talents. Another point was that Lu Muyen was a genius pupil that the sect leader and several elders attached great importance to. If she was lost here, they wouldn't be able to explain it all when they returned. "All right." Lu Muyen nodded, then turned her attention to the battle between Lan Si and Shen Mu Feng. The 5 sect pupils who entered the array saw Lu Muyen leap onto a big tree and lean on the tree trunk with her arms folded, calmly watching the battle in the distance, and couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips. Why was it that they, whose cultivation base was higher than her, would be affected and deeply injured by the battle between sword saints and be in such a sorry state, yet she was completely unscathed? There were only 2 possibilities. One was that her cultivation base wasn't high, but her strength had far surpassed them, while too she had a high-level defense-type saint treasure on her, so she wasn't afraid of the impact of the battles between sword saints. Between the cases, they automatically chose to believe the latter. After all, Lu Muyen had only been in the sect for a year, and was only at Sword Sovereign cultivation base. She only successfully violently beat the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect last time because her body was stronger. They knew that Lu Muyen was very strong, but they never thought that she could surpass all the pupils present. She stared intently at the two people in front of her. The other pupils quickly returned to their senses and turned their attention to the Sword Saint battle. They benefited a lot from being able to watch the battle between Sword Saints at a close range. They were scared and worried about their lives earlier before, so they didn't have the heart to watch carefully, but now that they were protected by Ming Xiu's array, watching it was also more relaxing. Ming Xiu looked indifferently at the two who were fighting, estimating the time inwardly. Piu piu. Suddenly, one after another, water columns spewed up from the falling ghost river, dissipating all the water mist curling around the river. Shen Mu Feng was just stabbed in the chest by a sword, and a wound with open flesh and blood was revealed. The obsidian fluorite is born. He ignored the wound on his body with glee in his eyes. He tossed a handful of black powder on Lan Si, then turned into a black light and rushed towards the falling ghost river. Lan Si narrowed his eyes, flipped his palm, and a cluster of ice-blue flames burned the black powder into black smoke along the river. He didn't hesitate either and plunged into the falling ghost river, closely following. At this time, after the battle just now, the powerhouses of the sea race and the devil race both suffered losses, and both sides even lost the Sword Saint powerhouse. Both sides fought so hard that they only stopped when they saw the two disappear into the river, then instantly followed into the falling ghost river. Their goals were the obsidian fluorite. Since the outcome hadn't been determined earlier, then they would settle it underwater. Ming Xiu and Lu Muyen glanced at each other and tacitly exchanged an expression. You can all stay in the array to recover your injuries that were caused by the remnant energy earlier and wait for the elders of the 5 sects to arrive. I'll leave for a bit. Ming Xiu said to the people in the array, then he disappeared in place, plunging into the water. Lu Muyen gave Jin Se and the others a reassuring smile, then jumped into the falling ghost river without hesitation. Chapter 375. Space at the bottom of the river. At this time, the water of the falling ghost river was dark and dull, and a strange fragrance emerged from the water. As soon as Lu Muyen entered the water, she was embraced by a warm body. Then, a golden elemental energy shield enveloped the two of them and they continued to sink towards the bottom of the river. Are we going to go down now or wait for them to fight a bit first? Lu Muyen looked up and asked. Ming Xiu kissed her forehead and said, Go down. Among them, only Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si are a little tricky. Lu Muyen's gaze deepened. If Ming Xiu dared say such a thing, then he must have a way to deal with it. All right. The two of them dived all the way to the bottom of the river and the scent grew stronger and stronger. Lu Muyen's eyes lit up. When the obsidian fluorite was born, the stronger the fragrance, the higher its quality, and there may even be obsidian fluorite essence being born. Roar. A loud roar suddenly sounded from the bottom of the river, and the entire falling ghost river and the surrounding mountains shook. The pupils of the 5 sects in the array watched in horror as the mountains in the distance swayed incessantly. The demonic beast's roar was layered in pressure and countless trees cracked and fell. Fortunately, the array arranged by Brother Qi can isolate the attack of the sonic waves, otherwise I'm afraid that we would have been injured on top of our injuries. A female pupil of the heavenly secret palace said with adoration and fieriness, as well as lingering fear. Brother Kai's array skills are indeed powerful. Guxiu couldn't help but admire. This level of defense-type array might only be able to be arranged by a headmaster-level array master in the 8 Extremes sect. Had Qi Xiu's array attainments already reached this level? Brother Qi deserves to be the #1 genius who won the championship in all contests in the last 6 major sects grand competition. Such strength and talent really makes us ashamed. Hani smiled bitterly. They were all people who had entered the sect about the same time, but Qi Xiu had already left them behind by a lot. Many people sighed helplessly. Jean Ses' enchanting expression revealed a bit of worry. I wonder how junior sister Lu is? This kind of pressure is probably difficult to resist with her sword sovereign cultivation base. That junior sister Lao's accomplishments in arrays are also very heaven-defying. She's a grade 5 array master before even 20. A pupil of the medicine sect sighed, then said with a contradictory expression, but her temper is too impulsive. With her rushing into the falling ghost river like this, I wonder if she would even be able to come back alive. Geniuses have the capital to be prideful, but junior sister Lu is a bit too conceited. A pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect said regretfully. With such talent, why risk her life for a spiritual item that she couldn't obtain at all? Who didn't desire the spiritual item at the bottom of the river here, but since the appearance of the sword saints of the devil race and the sea race, they could only put away the greed in their hearts. They didn't even dare to think about the spiritual item in that river with a fight at this level. And even if there weren't any sword saints from the devil race and sea race, simply with the tier 9 demonic beast hidden in the river alone that could destroy them all, they could only suppress that desire in their hearts. No matter how good something was, one had to live to enjoy them. I believe that junior sister Lu will be safe and sound. Gu Xiu looked at the falling ghost river with an uncertain expression. That woman had created countless miracles in the competition space of the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony. With her cautious temperament, she definitely wouldn't go down the river without some confidence. However, it was definitely a situation where the chances of misfortune were greater than fortune, but he also admired her courage. Jin Se nodded. I also think she'll be fine. She just had a feeling that Lu Muyan's strength wasn't as simple as it appeared on the surface. Although the others believed that Lu Muyan had a higher chance of dying, but they didn't say much and quietly observed the movements of falling ghost river. Roar! From the bottom of the river, demonic beast roars kept rising, and Lu Muyan felt a stinging pain in her head. Just as she was about to mobilize her mental energy to form a dense net to protect her spiritual sense, Ming Xiu took out a small blue ball and melted it into the golden shield, instantly isolating the roar of the demonic beast. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, you built a soundproof array in this little blue ball? Lu Muyan used to be a high-level array master, so her eyes were very sharp. She could see at a glance the secret hidden in the little blue ball. Ming Xiu's deep, dark eyes were filled with surprise. He really underestimated this woman before. He didn't expect that she would be able to see the sealed array with just a glance. There are many wonderful uses for arrays. They should be facing the tier 9 demonic beast now. Lu Muyan felt a violent fight coming from below. Let's join in the fun too. Ming Xiu's thin lips raised into an arc, and he quickly dived down with Lu Muyan. Lu Muyan found that each time they dived for a certain distance, the resistance in the water would deepen a lot. When they were about to reach the bottom of the river, the sword saints and sword venerables of the sea race and devil race were blocked outside by a dark blue water ring. The people on both sides already had no intention of fighting at this time and they slashed towards the water ring with their magic tools. Many people tried to continue to dive down, but each time half their bodies entered the water ring, they couldn't resist but float back up. Seeing Ming Xiu and Lu Muyan diving down, they watched the two of them defensively, but didn't make a move, worried that if one of their own made a move their opponent would sneak attack. Most importantly, they concluded that the two wouldn't be able to sink deeper past the water ring. The two ignored them and continued to dive down. When entering the dark blue water ring until it was waist-high, Lu Muyan felt a violent pressure squeeze towards her. The water pressure was very strong. As their bodies dived a little bit, the pressure grew stronger and stronger and even breathing became difficult. Can you still stand it? Ming Xiu held his arms around Lu Muyan and telepathically said as he neared her. Lu Muyan took a deep breath and replied, yes. Although the elemental energy barrier and array Ming Xiu arranged had a defensive function, but they couldn't prevent this natural water pressure. Only people with strong bodies or special methods wouldn't be crushed or shredded by the force generated by the water pressure. Thanks to the sorcerer's skill she cultivated, her body was as powerful as a tier 9 demonic beast once activated, otherwise she would have to stop at the deep blue water ring. It was no wonder that even the strong sword saints in the two teams were blocked outside. Although their cultivation base and abilities were powerful, but their bodies were unable to resist the water pressure here. Slowly diving down, Ming Xiu sent a few waves of true force into Lu Muyan's back from time to time, which relieved her originally squashed and pained bones a lot. It wasn't that Ming Xiu didn't want to block all the pressure for Lu Muyan, but that the squeeze of the water pressure would be of great help to her body cultivation in the future. This was actually a fortuitous encounter. After about another incense stick of time, the two finally penetrated another layer of dark blue water ring and reached the bottom of the river. The scene after passing through the water ring was completely different from above. All the water flows were isolated by the dark blue water ring. There was a large space below, and the ground was covered with icy blue gravel. There was even a transparent bottomless river next to the gravel. The two fell to the ground and Ming Xiu held Lu Muyan's hand, heading towards the end of the river where there were huge battle fluctuations. After walking for a while, a dazzling light came from the cave. Lu Muyen blocked her eyes and followed Ming Xiao in. When she opened her eyes, she saw that there was a huge ice pool in the cave. In the center of the ice pool was a gorgeous blue flower resembling a peony. Surrounding the flower were drops of ice blue water droplet spars with slivers of black inside. Maiwada Chapter 376. Your opponent is me. The strange fragrance in the cave entered their bodies in a stream of air currents. When the strange fragrance dissipated, the people exited that comfortable state. You despicable humans. This is this king's territory. If you don't scram, don't blame me going all out. The pure white Jiao dragon looked at the several people coldly and spoke the human tongue. It's fine if you want us to leave as long as you let us take the obsidian fluorite with us. Shenmu Feng said with a grim expression. Don't even think about it. The Jiao dragon was furious and spit out countless icicles at the four of them with a roar. Ming Xiao wielded his golden sword to block all the icicles outside, and Shenmu Feng and Lan Si both revealed a look of fear when they saw it. Lan Si, until when will you hide your strength? Shenmu Feng kept dodging the icicles and continued, why don't we join forces to kill him then snatch the obsidian fluorite? This method is good, but the two little fellows beside us are very likely to snatch the obsidian fluorite when we're fighting. Lan Si glanced at Ming Xiao and Lu Muyen and said. Lu Muyen rolled her eyes. Lan Si, this fox sure had a lot of thoughts. The two of you will deal with the Jiao dragon together with us. How about fight for the obsidian fluorite later? Shenmu Feng looked at Ming Xiao and Lu Muyen and asked. At this time no one trusted anyone. If they fought alone they wouldn't necessarily be afraid of the Jiao dragon, but they were afraid that they would be injured and give others the opportunity to snatch the obsidian fluorite first. I'll join forces with you, she won't need to. Ming Xiao blocked Lu Muyen and said to the two. Alright, as long as you fight alongside us. Shenmu Feng nodded. Although Lu Muyen's abilities were good, but her cultivation base was far worse than them. If she wanted to forcibly snatch away the obsidian fluorite, he could also kill her before she escaped. The only person they were afraid of was Ming Xiao. Ming Xiao didn't hesitate either. He just tapped his toes and greeted the Jiao dragon. The three occupied one side each and used various means to force the Jiao dragon to use his trump card. But as the three of them were all powerhouses of the same strength as the Jiao dragon, their combined force was simply not something that the Jiao dragon could resist. It didn't take long for the three of them to completely kill the Jiao dragon, but Shenmu Feng and Lan Si also exhausted a lot of elemental energy and were even injured. When the three of them were fighting, Lu Muyen tossed her spirit pets into the ice pool. The pool water here is good for you all to temper your bodies, absorb it well. Yes, owner. Miao Miao, Shui and Bing Ji shouted happily in the pool. After Bing Ji delivered the pills to the Lu clan, he flew back to Falling Ghost River 2 days ago to meet with Lu Muyen, and thus also obtained this fortuitous opportunity. This ice pool was very useful to demonic beasts, but it was of no use to humans, so Lu Muyen walked to a large rock and sat down, leaning her chin on a fist, watching the three of them slay the Jiao dragon. After the Jiao dragon was killed, the three of them retreated to one side each and looked at each other defensively. Now we're going to contend for the obsidian fluorite? Lan Si quickly took a few pills and looked at Ming Xiao and Shenmu Feng with a warm smile. Why don't we join forces to kill this kid, then have a showdown for the obsidian fluorite? Shenmu Feng turned his head to Lan Si and asked. Lan Si raised an eyebrow, his voice like a spring breeze, sure. But there was an endless chill in just that one word. Ever since he met Lu Muyen at Yenzhou Kingdom, he had become somewhat interested in her. Later, he also used his personal networks to investigate her performance during the Tianling Continental Tournament for Hegemony, and even obtained a copy of a crystal ball image recorded by the image reflection array. As he got to know her deeper, his interest in her also grew stronger, and he even had the thought to take her as his own. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. Just now, when he saw this mysterious man named Ming Xiao holding her hand and entering here, with also a tacit understanding between the two, it made him very unhappy. His temperament was indeed as gentle as jade, but his actions were also extremely ruthless. It was the right choice to get rid of a rival in love like Ming Xiao as soon as possible. Therefore, Shenmu Feng's proposal was exactly what he wanted. After the two reached an agreement, they looked to Ming Xiao in unison, about to make a move, but who knew that Lu Muyen, who was sitting lazily on the stone, landed in front of Shenmu Feng with a flash. Your opponent is me. She smiled like a flower, her eyes clear and chilling as she looked at Shenmu Feng. Shenmu Feng sneered, "Little beauty, you want to stop me? You'll know when you try it, right?" Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow. "Am not one to have pity and tender care for Jade. If you move out of the way now, I can spare your life." Shenmu Feng narrowed his eyes dangerously. "Then don't I need to thank you for your mercy?" Lu Muyen smiled sarcastically. "Unfortunately, I'm not interested in owing a devil cultivator a favor. Little Bowtie's temperament sure is explosive. Since you're adamant, then don't blame me for being cruel." A stern look flashed across Shenmu Feng's eyes. "Yen, retreat. I'll deal with them," Ming Xiao said softly to Lu Muyen. Lu Muyen turned her head and smiled at him, her eyes filled with firmness. Ming Xiao, believe me. She could never ever be the woman that would hide behind Ming Xiao. What she wanted was to stand side by side. She waited for his choice. Seeing the confidence and determination on Lu Muyen's stunning little face, Ming Xiao's heart felt like it was about to melt. His woman was just this brilliant and bright. All right. The woman he wanted to be with for all his life was bound to stand with him at the peak to view the scenery below. She understood him just as he knew her. Lu Muyen smiled happily and turned to face Shenmu Feng. "Let's fight." Lan Si held a silver sword in his hand, engraved with intricate circles of runes. Looking at the tacit interactions between the two, the discomfort in his heart deepened a little bit, and he felt that Ming Xiao was more and more unpleasant to the eye. As Lan Si's voice fell, the four quickly fought. Lu Muyen swiftly formed seals and clusters of orange flames leapt out of her palm, turning into blossoming fire lotuses floating towards Shenmu Feng. Shenmu Feng knew that Lu Muyen owned a spirit flame, so he also took precautions and immediately took out a dark shield. The dark shield quickly grew in size, blocking all the lotuses formed from the spirit flame. "If you only have these tricks, then you'll surely die." Shenmu Feng held a cyan long sword and constantly channeled elemental energy into it. Lu Muyen sighed. The gap between cultivation bases was just too large and it really was difficult to make up for it using these tricks. "Mo Yen, let's start." Mo Yen, who was standing on her shoulder, swept over Shenmu Feng with a cold look, and after a few gestures with his claws in midair, he vanished from this space. Immediately, a blazing cyan-black flame appeared in her dantian and a violent force swept through her entire body. She quickly formed seals and used the secret skill to incorporate the power borrowed from Mo Yen into her own spiritual energy. Shenmu Feng's pupils constricted. He discovered that Lu Muyen's momentum was gradually completely changing, and her cultivation base was also rising, until she advanced to initial phase Sword Saint where she stopped. He didn't know what method she used to improve her strength, but there was a faint sense of danger which made him no longer hesitate. He swung his sword and slashed. A sword aura burst through the air, turning into a ferocious cyan tiger, opening its mouth and biting towards Lu Muyen's neck. Chapter 377. Waiting for an opportunity. The ferocious tiger transformed from Shenmu Feng's sword aura brought unparalleled pressure, as if a king of jungle. It quickly sprang out and when it arrived near Lu Muyen's neck, it opened its mouth wanting to bite. There was no fear in Lu Muyen's eyes. Clusters of cyan-black flames appeared all around her body. She raised her hands slightly and a mini qilin appeared. With fiery flames, the mini qilin waved its small paws and clawed the tiger. Roar! The ferocious tiger was eroded by the energy contained in the flame and let out an ear-piercing roar. The sword auras of the devil race would more or less carry some dark evil force, and the netherworld flame was its nemesis. Netherworld flame. You can actually use the netherworld flame. Shenmu Feng's pupils continued to constrict. That white demonic pet is a spirit devourer? After Mo Yan's cultivation base improved, he completely concealed the aura of a spirit devourer. Even a sword deity powerhouse would only regard him as a fire cloud mink. If it weren't for Mo Yan's disappearance and Lu Muyen's sudden soaring cultivation base, as well as using the netherworld flame, Shenmu Feng wouldn't have discovered it either. It's too late to know now. Lu Muyen snorted coldly, her hands forming seals incessantly. Runes with cyan-black flames surrounded Shenmu Feng one after another, then she took out a black array flag. She refined and unfolded it quickly. 9 nether killing array rise. Following a shout, divine beasts condensed from netherworld flames suddenly appeared around Shenmu Feng. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise stared at Shenmu Feng with icy gazes. The mini qilin suddenly grew dozens of times bigger, swallowing all the sword auras that Shenmu Feng just activated. You're actually a grade 6 array master. Shenmu Feng looked at Lu Muyen in utter shock. He never thought that this woman who wasn't even 20 years old would hide so deeply. With this kind of array and cultivation talent, she would be considered an exceptionally rare genius of a millennium even among the devil race of the Guangling world. Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow. Don't underestimate any opponent. This is the profound lesson that I've taught you today. She knew that the Shenmu Feng here wasn't his original body. On this interface, their projected avatars would be suppressed by the power of the interface, and the cultivation base they displayed wouldn't even be 1/10 of their original body. I didn't expect that you would be the first person to force me to use my trump card on this small interface. Shenmu Feng chuckled. The elemental energy in his body instantly tore open a seal. Immediately, his figure blurred, and when he reappeared, there were 2 more thorns on his head, and his entire body was covered in a layer of black scales. A pair of wings also grew behind him, and even his hands and feet turned into claws like those demons from hell. What's this? Lu Muyen asked Jun Luochen in the pendant while forming seals to control the array. You don't know that the devil race can demonize? This is his transformation after using the demonize secret skill. His strength will be increased by at least half compared to before, and the toughness of his body is comparable to a peak phase tier 9 demonic beast. Be careful. Jun Luochen folded his arms, appearing like he was watching a good show. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows and asked, is there any weak point that can be attacked? She had heard Lan Si call Shenmu Feng the holy son of the devil race before. Then as a former devil lord, Jun Luochen should know how to break this secret skill. Why should I tell you about our devil race's weakness after demonization? Jun Luochen said irrefutably. What a joke. If he told this woman about their weakness after demonizing, then wouldn't she turn the devil realm into chaos after she ascended to Guangling world? Lu Muyan's eyes turned cold, but her voice was extremely calm. It seems that you want to taste the power of the netherworld flame personally? Jun Luochen, I have a partnership relationship with you, but you'd better not challenge my patience. There was a time limit in using the secret skill between her and Mo Yen. If she failed to kill Shenmu Feng after the secret skill passed, she would definitely be the one to die. Jun Luochen choked. Don't forget that I'm the devil lord of the devil race. Do you think I'm a fool to leak such a secret? Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, I want to remind you of one thing. You are the former devil lord. Go ask that holy son of the devil race opposite if he recognizes you? Lu Muyen said with a smile of ridicule. You tell me, if he knew that the pendant on me was hiding the former devil lord, will he immediately self-destruct and die together with you? You. Jun Luochen was furious, but he couldn't refute Lu Muyen. The devil race's holy sons were all geniuses and elites cultivated by the devil lord and would only obey the orders of the current devil lord. If the holy son of the devil race knew that his main soul still existed in the human world, then even if they couldn't kill him with all their might, they would also send the news back to the upper interface. When that happens, if that person personally projected an avatar down, his main soul would undoubtedly be destroyed. His eyes are the weak point on his whole body. Jun Luochen's voice was a bit hopeless. He was betrayed by his race and the people close to him. Just remembering this point, he felt a heart-wrenching pain. There was mockery on his lips. Since that was the case, so what if he leaked the secret like this? Suddenly, he was actually looking forward to the scene of Lu Muyen running to the devil realm to stir up a scenery of fleshy wind and bloody rain. If Lu Muyen knew what Jun Luochen was thinking, she would definitely beat him up. He made her sound as if she was a troublemaker. Lan Si and Ming Xiu fought evenly, but they never thought that Lu Muyen not only merged with the power of her demonic pet, but also forced Shenmu Feng to demonize. So you demonized, but you think he'll be afraid of you? Lu Muyen looked at the scarlet eyes of Shenmu Feng, while waiting for an opportunity to attack his eyes. Shenmu Feng laughed loudly, waved his wings and with a flash, landed right behind Lu Muyen. A sharp claw clawed at Lu Muyen. Be careful. Ming Xiu's attention was mostly on Lu Muyen, and when he saw this he wanted to move over to rescue her. Lan Si blocked him and said, don't you interfere with their battle. He naturally wouldn't watch Lu Muyen be killed by Shenmu Feng, but he wanted to see the limits of this woman. Lu Muyen's mental energy was very strong, so she discovered Shenmu Feng as soon as he arrived behind her. She used flash steps and barely avoided the claws, but was also caught by a storm created by the claw and reflected out. Her Bodis toughness only barely reached a tier 9 demonic beast. She borrowed the sorcerer's skill earlier when she was entering the water ring to offset part of the pressure, but at this time Shenmu Feng had the body toughness of a peak phase tier 9 demonic beast. She wouldn't win by battling directly. And Shen Mufeng's speed after demonization was too fast, even surpassing her flash steps. Ming Xiu, I will kill him. Lu Muyan's firm voice sounded in Ming Xiu's sea of consciousness. Ming Xiu's deep eyes overflowed with pain from his heart. He closed his eyes. All right. But if you haven't killed him after your secret skill disappears, ill act. Ming Xiu exuded an endless chill all over his body. He vented all the irritability in his heart towards Lan Si. The two people who were originally a fair match instantly distanced. Lan Si's blue eyes were filled with killing intent and no longer held back. He quickly met the maniacal attacks of Ming Xiu. On the other side, Shen Mufeng kept attacking Lu Muyan with sharp claws, and she would be injured each time he reached out. But Shen Mufeng wasn't any better either. Lu Muyan's 9 nether killing array was already a grade 6 killing array. Each time the 4 symbols divine beasts roared out of the array, his demonized power would also weaken a bit. But unless his elemental energy was exhausted, then he could maintain his demonization. Meanwhile, Lu Muyan's secret skill that forcibly advanced her cultivation base had a time limit. As long as he bided for time, then he could kill her. Shen Mufeng had his own strategy, while Lu Muyan was also waiting for an opportunity. Suddenly, Shen Mufeng clawed towards Lu Muyan from the front and pierced her shoulder. Right when he was about to tear her body apart, he saw a faint smile on Lu Muyan's lips. An ominous feeling rose in his heart. Not good. There was something wrong with her. After battling dozens of rounds, Lu Muyan would have been injured by him through shockwaves, and she even withstood the danger of being stabbed through the shoulder by him, to the point that she even risked the danger of severely injuring her internal organs to lure him in, only for this fatal blow. And she was very successful in luring him into this trap. He didn't expect her to attack his only weakness after demonized. His consciousness began to fade, but there was still a question lingering in his heart. Did she just accidentally attack his eyes, or did she already know the weakness of the devil race after demonization? Why did you attack my eyes? Before dying, Shen Mufeng mouthed his doubts. Lu Muyan smiled, lowered her head beside his ear, and said with a sharpness in her eyes, "Because I hate when people look at me with scarlet, bloody eyes. I can't help but want to destroy them. So in the future when battling, don't use those eyes to look at others. Shen Mufeng, you should actually thank me. I taught you a deep lesson today." She wouldn't explain too much, otherwise Shen Mufeng would definitely suspect that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization. To only say enough, that way it would make him feel that her attack was an accident. She naturally wouldn't admit that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization, otherwise it would be huge trouble. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. The corner of Shen Mufeng's lips twitched. Because of the color of his eyes, she used herself to lure him into the trap to kill. This woman was a lunatic. But he was also completely relieved. So it turned out she didn't know his weakness after demonization. Thinking about it, that was only of course. He was completely scaring himself earlier. Let alone a human swordmaster of the lower interface, even those powerful almighties in Guangling world didn't know the hidden weaknesses of their devil race after demonization. He closed his eyes, his aura gradually disappearing, and he used the last of the elemental energy accumulated in his dantian to send out a mental energy sonic wave resounding throughout the cave. Lu Muyan, right? This eminence has remembered you. When you ascend to Guangling world in the future, this eminence will repay you for killing my body and snatching the treasure. When Shen Mufeng's aura disappeared completely, in a palace in the devil realm of Guangling world, a man who looked exactly like Shen Mufeng but with a completely different aura suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment there was a scarlet color in his eyes, and a cruel arc rose on his lips as he thought, "Lu Muyan, you don't like scarlet eyes, huh? Then in the future this eminence will definitely imprison you and let you have a nice taste of how it feels to be burnt by scorching flames, staring at this eminence's scarlet eyes every day." Lu Muyan burnt his internal organs with the netherworld flame, infected him with poison needles, and destroyed his sea of consciousness with her mental energy storm. Most importantly, it destroyed his plan of hiding in that little interface and missed out on the obsidian fluorite. Even if it was just an avatar projection, but as the genius holy son of the devil race, when had he suffered such humiliation? Lu Muyan, you must live well and ascend to Guangling world. This eminence is waiting for you. The anger in his chest had nowhere to vent, and he finally raised his head and roared a few times. All the furnishings in the entire palace room were shattered into powder. And in his roar he just repeated one name, Lu Muyan. After Shen Mufeng died, Lu Muyan's secret skill also faded. She sat meekly on the ground, gasping for breath. Her entire body was weak and Mo Yan's figure fell to the ground. Mo Yan, it seems that I've forged a great enemy before I even ascended to Guangling World. Lu Muyan smiled helplessly. From the mental energy sonic waves condensed by Shen Mufeng just now, she heard infinite resentment. That man would definitely not let this go easily. Mo Yan looked at her collapsed on the ground, injured, with a hint of heartache in his eyes, and said with a light gaze, "You could have chosen to challenge Lan Si earlier." Lan Si, who was fighting with Ming Xiu, glanced at Lu Muyan strangely when he heard those words. He wondered if it was because she was reluctant to kill him? But he was destined to be disappointed because Lu Muyan's reply almost made him vomit blood. No other way. Shen Mufeng represents 100,000 contribution points from the sect. What's the benefit of killing Lan Si? Lu Muyan rolled her eyes at Lan Si. She took the initiative to challenge Shen Mufeng first in order to help Ming Xiu share some pressure, and second she targeted the 100,000 contribution points from the sect. Such a big pie fell from the sky. Even if she had to bear the consequences of being wanted by Shen Mufeng in the future, she must still take it. Lan Si was completely speechless. So it turned out that his life was just worthless in the eyes of this woman. This woman sure was still the same as she used to be, to actually make such a ruthless move simply for some contribution points. But the more ruthless she was, the more cunning she was, the more he liked her. This woman, he must obtain her. Ming Xiu's heart chilled when he saw that Lan Si's eyes revealed a stubborn madness for Lu Muyan. He unsealed a layer of his seals in his body and elemental energy instantly gushed out. Maiwada Chapter 379. Heartache and helplessness. At this time, Ming Xiu's entire figure was as if it were plated with a layer of golden light. A boundless elemental energy rushed towards his dantian, and his entire person exuded a momentum even stronger than Lan Si, who was at Sword Saint Cultivation Base. Lan Si came to his senses only to see Ming Xiu filled with killing intent. His eyes were filled with incredulity. Just who was this man, and how could he have sealed such a powerful force in him? Such power wasn't something that this interface could possess at all. Could this man also come from Guangling World? But Lan Si could conclude that Ming Xiu was different to him and Shen Mufeng. They were avatar projections, while Ming Xiu was definitely his original body. But if the original body descended to this interface, then it would inevitably be repelled by the power of the laws of this interface. Just what was his identity? A golden sword light swept across and Lan Si's eyes narrowed. He struck with his palm towards the sword light and clusters of blue flames emerged from his body to form a shield. The sword aura swept across the shield and the shield formed by the spirit flame was torn in half, but also offset 90% of the sword aura energy. The rest of the sword aura was barely withstood by Lan Si, but he felt his blood was surging inside. Just who are you? He looked at Ming Xiu with a grim expression. Ming Xiu's eyes were filled with coldness. You talk too much. Then he immediately poured all his elemental energy into the giant golden sword in his hand, ready for the second strike. Lan Si's heart was grim. He glanced at the obsidian fluorite, gritted his teeth and made a decision. He took out a talisman and activated it. A huge blue water curtain suddenly appeared in front of him, and he walked in without hesitation. With the power of his avatar projection being suppressed by this interface, he wasn't Ming Xiu's opponent, who had unlocked a seal and gained a vast amount of power. He could only leave first and slowly plan out how he could obtain the obsidian fluorite. A huge sword energy erupted from Ming Xiu, and he was like a killing deity. The huge golden sword slashed through the water curtain and instantly severely injured Lan Si, who had already entered it. Piu! A mouthful of blood spurted out from the water curtain and Lan Si turned his head to look at Ming Xiu fiercely. The death of this sword will be avenged by this king in the future. Ming Xiu smiled, uncaring. His thin lips opened slightly and he mouthed to Lan Si, "To covet this monarch's woman, you're still a little tender. This monarch is waiting for you to take revenge anytime." Lan Si's pupils constricted slightly, then as the entire water curtain faded, he also disappeared from this space. After Lan Si was teleported away by the power of that talisman, Ming Xiu immediately walked towards Lu Muyan and squatted down. He pressed his lips tightly with a worried and unhappy expression, quickly took out some liquid medicine and poured it on Lu Muyan's shoulder, then took out a grade 4 force nourishing pill for her to take. Seeing Ming Xiu's cold expression, Lu Muyan could also guess why he was angry. She tugged his sleeve with a pitiful little look. "My shoulder hurts so much." Seeing her pale face and that rare look of weakness, her beautiful eyes watery, looking at Ming Xiu with a coquettish appearance, all his anger disappeared immediately. Aside from heartache, there was only pampering. "You're such a bold and reckless woman." Ming Xiu carefully hugged her in his arms with heartache and placed his large hands on her back, continuously channeling true elemental aura. Lu Muyen pouted and said, "No, I'm not." "You're not." Ming Xiu tapped the tip of her nose with his finger with helpless pampering in his deep eyes. "Just tell me what you want to exchange your contribution points for, and I'll find a way to help you get it. Why risk your life to kill Shenmu Feng? Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, what you get from me isn't the same feeling of achievement as what I obtain myself." Lu Muyen blinked and said. Ming Xiu was the hall master of the 9 Layers Hall, and there was the entire Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance behind him. It was true that rarely was there anything he couldn't find. But she didn't lie either. The 100,000 contribution points she got from killing Shenmu Feng, and the things Ming Xiu helped her find were just 2 completely different things. She didn't want to rely on him too much. She needed independent space to grow. She would use him as her support, but it wouldn't be her all. "You." Ming Xiu sighed. He knew Lu Muyan's temper from the moment he fell in love with her. She was tenacious and confident, with her own pride and persistence. Since he liked her, then he would naturally follow her heart, even if he really wanted to simply protect her under his wings so that she could be carefree. Actually, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit injured. Lu Muyen buried her head against Ming Xiu's neck. "During the battle with Shenmu Feng, I found that my strength and speed are still far behind him, and there's much to improve. I also feel like I comprehended something. If she hadn't borrowed Mo Yan's power, she wouldn't be able to kill Shenmu Feng at all. Maybe she would even be escaping with a secret skill right now." Although her shoulder was seriously injured, but she gained even more. Not only did she kill Shenmu Feng to exchange for 100,000 sect contribution points, but she also comprehended a slight wind element when she battled with him. Maybe the wind element in her would be activated because of it. But don't force yourself so much in the future. Ming Xiu also knew that a battle of life and death was the best way to enhance the potential of a swordmaster, but seeing her bloody wound, his heart only ached more. "Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. If I couldn't beat Shenmu Feng, I would have asked for your help long ago." Lu Muyen raised her beaming eyes, like a sneaky little fox. Ming Xiu kissed her forehead and hugged her tighter. "In the future you have to be careful with people from the devil race. Shenmu Feng is one of the most respected holy sons of the devil lord in the devil realm. You killed him and destroyed his plan to contend for the obsidian fluorite. You wouldn't just let it go easily." He lowered his head and there was a layer of frost in the bottom of his eyes. Sooner or later, he would find Shenmu Feng to settle the debt of injuring his woman. If it weren't that Lu Muyen didn't let him help, he would have definitely shredded Shenmu Feng's body into thousands of pieces and extracted this split soul. "I will." Lu Muyen knew that she had indeed provoked a great existence, but she didn't take it to heart. In her past life, she also provoked numerous powerful existences in the spiritual realm, but in the end, because of their various pursuits and killing attempts, she was motivated to continuously pursue the great path and improve her cultivation base. Recover a little. After channeling in the last true elemental aura into Lu Muyen's body, Ming Xiu let go of her. Lu Muyen nodded with a smile, then began to close her eyes to recover from the injury. She also used the true elemental aura from Ming Xiu to stabilize her peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base. She used the green mist in her dantian, flowing along her meridians to cover her wound for healing. The green mist's repairing ability was very powerful, and it only took half a day for the wound on her shoulder that went deep into the bones to gradually heal. Of course, the quick recovery of the wound was inseparable from the liquid medicine that Ming Xiu dripped on her shoulder. After she recovered somewhat from her injuries, the moment she opened her eyes, she met Ming Xiu's eyes that were as bright as the brilliant stars in the vast starry sky. "Let's take the obsidian fluorite first," Lu Muyen said with a smile. "Based on the time, the elders of the 5 major sects may be arriving soon." The speed of a sword saint powerhouse was naturally very different from flying magic tools that they took for missions. The elders who were not far away from here should be able to reach Falling Ghost River in a day. All right. Chapter 380, Frame the love rival. All the obsidian fluorite was born, and a fragrant scent lingered on both their noses. Lu Muyan's several spirit pets also absorbed the power in the ice pool pretty well. That ice blue peony-shaped spar was bright and clean, giving people of a sense of cleanliness and translucence. I didn't expect our luck to be so good. The obsidian fluorite actually gave birth to fluorite essence. Lu Muyen smiled at the several spars in the stamen. Ming Xiu nodded, yeah. Last time we obtained the heavenly frost golden essence together, and this time we discovered the fluorite essence. It shows that our luck's good. Still the old rule, let's half it. Lu Muyen said with a smile. I only need enough fluorite essence to refine a single magic tool. You can take the rest of the obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiu had been searching for a material to refine a water attribute magic tool for a while, and he didn't expect that through this opportunity he actually obtained it. Do you want the white Jiao dragon corpse and Shen Mu Feng's interspatial ring? Lu Muyen asked, scanning the corpse beside him. Don't want, you can put it away. Lu Muyen knew that this guy was rolling in money, so she divided the fluorite essence in half, then put it away together with the spar peony containing obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiu took the fluorite essence and put it away. After thinking about it, he asked, can you also comprehend the water element? I'm going to use this fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool. Lu Muyen didn't hide it from Ming Xiu. Ming Xiu's eyes revealed slight strangeness. He didn't expect Lu Muyen's talent to be so heaven-defying, but when he remembered his own multiple attributes, he calmed. With this, weren't they a good match? If you use the fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool, you best sacrifice it together with heavy water, and its power would be even stronger. After Ming Xiu finished speaking, he flipped his hand and there were two more colorless and transparent stones in his palm. This is a nether meteorite. When you refine, you can add some in and it can randomly activate some of the hidden attributes of the magic tool. Then I won't be polite. Lu Muyen knew about the nether meteorite. This thing could be regarded as an earth-rank spiritual item and was exceptionally rare. As long as she functioned well when refining the natal magic tool, then the magic tool she refined would be even more powerful. By the way, do you know where you can find heavy water on Tianling continent? Lu Muyen asked after a bit. Heavy water was a kind of spiritual item extracted by high-level swordmasters who have comprehended the water attribute element to perfection realm. It was best used to refine magic tools. Although Ming Xiu could also perceive the water attribute element, but he had only reached the great achievement realm and couldn't refine heavy water. On this interface, he had also never met a swordmaster who had comprehended the water attribute to the perfection realm. He furrowed his brows, then after a while, his eyes lit up and he said, in your 8 extremes sect, there's a piece of heavy water. After you're promoted to an inner sect pupil, each sect will have an individual spiritual item exchange jade slip issued. I remember heavy water is on it. Then I can use the contribution points from the wanted mission to exchange for it. Lu Muyen smiled happily. She wasn't worried about not being able to be promoted to inner sect pupil. Whether it was her specialization skills or direct battles, she was 100% certain that she would be able to enter the inner sect. The opening of the land of inheritance has been delayed. You can use this interval to improve your strength. It just so happens that the selection competition for inner pupils within each sect is about to start. Ming Xiu said. Lu Muyen nodded. How long until the land of inheritance opens? It will take a year at least. I think it'll be after the sect's grand competition. Ming Xiu believed that Lu Muyen would shine brightly again during the sect's grand competition. Lu Muyen rubbed her chin and asked, what are the benefits of the sect's grand competition? She remembered that the 6 major sects held a grand competition among each other every 3 years. They were all competitions between the new pupils of the inner sect. Ao Rong once mentioned that he hoped that she could participate in the array competition then. There are many benefits. If you win the championship of each competition, you will not only obtain rewards from each of the 6 major sects, but the rewards after returning to the sect will also be very grand. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. Ming Xiu paused, then emphasized, most importantly, the top 3 of the sect's grand competition have the opportunity to go to the holy purity pool to cleanse their marrows, shape their bodies and wash their souls. It's several times or even 10 times better than the effect of pills. You mustn't miss out on it. Alright, since there are so many benefits, I'll naturally strive to participate in it. Lu Muyen's eyebrows curved with her smile. She must go to the place where even Ming Xiu praised. Ming Xiu was touched by her smile and an arc rose on his lips. The geniuses and elites of the inner sects of each sect all have the ability to skip stage battle, especially when it comes to specialized skills. Each sect is hiding their peerless geniuses, waiting for a time to amaze everyone. You have to pay attention. Isn't it more interesting like this? Lu Muyen's eyes lit up. There was only meaning to participate if there was a challenge. Ming Xiu took her into his arms and inhaled the fragrance of her hair. It will take a while for us to meet again after this time apart. Lu Muyen grunted softly and wrapped her arms around Ming Xiu's waist. The two of them quietly hugged each other just like this and enjoyed the rare tranquility and warmth. 2 hours later, the two left the cave at the bottom of the river, and when they floated to the deep blue water ring, they looked up and saw the powerhouses of both the devil race and sea race still anxiously trying to dive down. What should we do? Lu Muyen looked at Ming Xiu and asked, kill them? No need. Leave them to the elders of the 5 major sects to take care of. A cunning look flashed across Ming Xiu's deep eyes. Let's not expose the fact that we obtained the obsidian fluorite. Didn't you also only recover half of your injury on purpose? We can just act a little when the time comes and well be free of suspicion. Lu Muyen was also prepared to resolutely refuse to admit seeing the spiritual item at the bottom of the river. Otherwise, if the powerhouses of the 6 major sects knew that they had the obsidian fluorite in their hands, they would probably use various means to exchange them. But they're still stuck up there. How can we get out? Lu Muyen didn't want to fight with the powerhouses on both sides right now. Ming Xiu hooked the corners of his lips up and said with a smile, leave it to me. With a thought, a purple light suddenly burst out from between his brows and immediately turned into a cold, cool and handsome man in purple. The man exuded a powerful aura that seemed to come from ancient times, and one couldn't see through his cultivation base at all. A dragon race demon cultivator? Lu Muyen looked at the man who suddenly appeared and whispered in a trance. The man stared sharply at Lu Muyen as if scrutinizing. Then he said telepathically to Ming Xiu, you have a good eye for choosing a woman. There are a lot of secrets on this woman that even I can't see through. Her talent isn't even outmatched by you, very heaven-defying. My woman is naturally the best. Ming Xiu replied with full confidence and cheeriness. After a while, the purple-clothed man asked Ming Xiu, why did you call me out? Ming Xiu pointed to the top and replied with a smile, I asked you to come out and lure the people above away. The purple-clothed man furrowed his brows and there was a bit of disgust in his eyes. You want me to transform into that sea race's sword saint to lure them away? Ming Xiu, this man definitely wasn't some nice guy. To get him to transform into Lan Si and run out, then Shen Mufeng's death and the ownership of the obsidian fluorite could naturally all be pushed onto Lan Si. And Lan Si wasn't dead yet. By the time they discover Shen Mufeng's death, those devil race people definitely wouldn't give up and it was very possible for them to go to the sea race to assassinate him. At that time, they'd then release the news that the obsidian fluorite was taken by Lan Si, and Ming Xiu and Lu Muyen would find a person to carry the blame. This was the classic pattern of framing the love rival to death. Alrighty-o. School holidays once again, look forward to more double updates soon. Might not be regular double updates but more will definitely come XD. Chapter 381. Find fault. Ming Xiu didn't care about the disgust in the eyes of the purple-clothed man. As long as he could meet his requirements, that was all. Yes, and along the way you can resolve the sword venerables of the devil race while leave no one from the sea race. Sure is troublesome. The purple-clothed man glanced at Ming Xiu, then transformed into the appearance of Lan Si. Lu Muyen's eyes revealed slight surprise. The purple-clothed man not only transformed into Lan Si's figure, but even also had the same temperament. Lure them all away. Ming Xiu raised an eyebrow and added with a smile. The purple-clothed man looked askance at him, then rushed out from the dark blue water ring. After rushing out of the water ring, the powerhouses of the sea race were overjoyed, while the powerhouses of the devil race looked at him with fear. Where's our master? A devil race sword saint asked. Lan Si looked at the several devil race people with a warm smile and said, your master has already gone to report to the underworld. You? The devil race powerhouses were shocked, then each took out their magic tools to attack. The people of the sea race surrounded Lan Si to counterattack. Lan Si shot out a blue sword light, and all the sword venerables from the devil race were killed by the sword aura. Let's go. Lan Si turned his head and said to the people of the sea race. Yes. Then the people of the sea race turned into several streams of light and exited the falling ghost river. The remaining several sword saints of the devil race frantically chased after them. After the two parties left, Lu Muyen and Ming Xiu leapt out of the falling ghost river after half a day. The people in the array all sighed with relief when they saw the two coming out. After all, earlier they saw those people chasing after the sea race while exiting the falling ghost river, and they all thought that Ming Xiu and Lu Muyen might be dead. Not long after the two came out of the water, the elders of the 6 major sects also arrived. The elder of the heavenly secret palace looked at Ming Xiu gently and asked, "Qi Xiu, tell me what happened earlier." Ming Xiu stepped forward, cupped his hands and reported all the events and change at Falling Ghost River. Then he added, "I went underwater to investigate with junior sister Lu of the 8 Extreme sect, discovered that there was a layer of a water ring formed by deep water pressure under the Falling Ghost River and couldn't go down. The 2 leaders of the devil race and the sea race, however, entered, while the others also couldn't dive further down. Junior sister Lu and I were found by several devil cultivators while we lurked and were attacked and injured. We fled to the upper and lower reaches of the river separately. They didn't chase after us. Only after we felt the powerful auras leave did we dare surface." Ming Xiu's expression was also pale at this time, and he looked as if he had suffered internal injuries, while the red clothes on Lu Muyan's shoulders had deep, dried-up bloodstains. "You're too reckless. Both the devil race and the sea race have sword saint powerhouses here. The both of you truly didn't care about your lives when you went to investigate. Luckily they didn't continue to chase and try to kill." The elder's complexion from the heavenly secret palace changed again and couldn't help but reprimand the two. Qi Xiu was the #1 pupil of their heavenly secret palace and his status in the sect was even higher than his. If he was lost because of this, he wouldn't be able to be excused easily after returning. Both of them humbly listened to the elder of the heavenly secret palace. "Do you know what spiritual item was born underwater?" the elder of the sword sect asked. "We're unsure, but among the leaders of the devil race and sea race, only the sea race's sword saint left with their people. He must have obtained the spiritual item." Ming Xiu replied, "Come and read on our website wuxialover site." Thanks. He paused, then said, "Xin Mu Feng, the leader of the devil race, was seriously injured by Lan Si of the sea race, and was later killed by junior sister Lu. Lu Muyan had to exchange Xin Mu Feng's body for the sect's contribution points, so he couldn't leave too many flaws. He had to help her fill it up." "What?" The elders of the several sects were in disbelief when they heard that Lu Muyan had killed Xin Mu Feng. The pupils of the several sects looked at Lu Muyan as if they had seen a ghost, and they couldn't believe it at all. The elder of the 8 Extreme sect knew about Lu Muyan. After all, the sect leader and Ao Rong attached great importance to her. "Lu girl, is this true?" Reporting to elder, he was seriously injured with only his last breath left. "I set up a killing array when I was escaping. After he broke in, I used the killing array to kill him." Lu Muyan replied calmly. "A sword sovereign cultivation base pupil can kill a sword saint powerhouse?" The elder of the heavenly secret palace furrowed his brows and asked. Most importantly, Xin Mu Feng wasn't an ordinary sword saint powerhouse, but was 10th on the most wanted list. Even if he was severely injured, he couldn't be killed by a sword sovereign. With a thought from Lu Muyan, Xin Mu Feng's corpse appeared in front of the several elders. When he broke into the array, his internal organs were seriously damaged already. I was also only able to kill him by sneaking up, plus the array. The several elders immediately squatted down to inspect Xin Mu Feng's body, then their expressions changed. Xin Mu Feng's internal organs were burned by a spirit flame, and from his aura, it was caused by a sword saint level person. The traces left on his body were indeed injured by an array. The elder of the sword sect said. "Did Lu Muyan kill Xin Mu Feng alone?" The elder of the heavenly secret palace looked at Ming Xiu after a moment of silence and asked. Ming Xiu nodded. "Junior sister Lu and I acted separately. When I felt the battle fluctuations and rushed over, junior sister Lu had already killed Xin Mu Feng." "Demonstrate the array you used to kill Xin Mu Feng again." The elder of the vast mountain sect ordered Lu Muyan with a sullen expression. They already knew that Lu Muyan injured the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect, and he didn't believe at all that this little girl could set up such a high-level killing array, so he was finding fault. Lu Muyan chuckled, raised an eyebrow and asked, "You are the elder of the vast mountain sect, and I am the pupil of the 8 Extreme sect. What qualifications do you have to order me?" Her indifferent attitude and arrogant tone made the pupils present unable to resist sucking in a deep breath. This woman was truly crazy. She dared to talk like this to a sword saint strength elder. "You," the elder of the vast mountain sect obviously didn't expect Lu Muyan to dare refute him, and in a fit of anger, the pressure of a sword saint pressed towards Lu Muyan. "A junior also dares to be this presumptuous towards this old man. I see you're courting death." Ming Xiu's eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to stand out, he was stopped by a look from Lu Muyan. She took out an array flag, quickly formed hand seals, grabbed a handful of spiritual stones, and absorbed them crazily in her hand. An array constructed of transparent runes immediately protected her. As soon as the pressure from the elder of the vast mountain sect landed on the array, it was automatically absorbed by the array, and only 20% was applied to Lu Muyen, but she still withstood it. Grade 5 Defense Array. The elder of the heavenly secret palace said in surprise. Old man Dongling, do you think our 8 Extremes sect is that easy to bully? The elder of the 8 Extremes sect snorted coldly, blocking in front of Lu Muyen, and released his own sword saint pressure. He didn't quite believe that Lu Muyen could set up a high-level array, and she even dared to contradict Elder Dongling, so he wanted to see just what foundation she had to be so confident. Now that he saw that she could arrange a grade 5 array, in a moment of excitement, he naturally couldn't watch her being oppressed by an elder of another sect. Chapter 382. No thoughts of changing schools. The elder of the vast mountain sect removed the pressure with an extremely ugly expression. Obviously he didn't expect Lu Muyen to really be a grade 5 array master. It is rude for the pupil of your 8 Extremes sect to not distinguish between respect and humility. There is a saying, respect the old and love the young. You don't even love the young, how can I respect the old? Lu Muyen asked with ridicule. Humph, you sure are eloquent. But I want to see just how long you can be so arrogant. The elder of the vast mountain sect snorted coldly with hidden killing intent in his eyes. He had indeed overstepped in front of the 8 Extremes sect elder to order Lu Muyen. However, being contradicted by a junior and being unable to kill her right on the spot, the anger in his heart kept simmering. There is no need to bother you, old man Donglin, to take care of a pupil of our 8 Extremes sect. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect appeared slightly cold. The elder of the sword sect thought about it, then persuaded, all right now Donglin, why are you arguing with a junior? Let's first deal with the important business. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect had already regarded Lu Muyen as a treasure right now, and Elder Donglin couldn't do anything to her at all. The two sects had held grudges for a long time, and the people of the 8 Extremes sect were very protective and defensive of their people, otherwise Lu Muyen wouldn't dare be so arrogant either. To continue to find faults wasn't a wise move at all, and it could end up in a fight. What's more, such a young grade 5 array master should be raised as a treasure even for their sword sect. Geniuses had their own pride. Lu Muyen's ability to withstand a sword saint's pressure by herself just now proved that she still had some capabilities. From his perspective, being a little arrogant wasn't anything big. The elder of the vast mountain sect suppressed his anger, but the matter of Lu Muyen injuring his pupil and contradicting him would never be let go just like this. He smiled sinisterly inwardly. When the 6 major sects' grand competition arrived, he must let the geniuses of his sect kill her to avoid future trouble. The elder of the heavenly secret palace contemplated, then instructed all the pupils, you can all rest here first, well go down for a look. Yes. Then the elders of the 6 major sects jumped into the falling ghost river to investigate. After all, the purpose of their trip was to explore the spiritual item here. A day later, another wave of sword saint powerhouses from the 6 major sects came, and together they destroyed the water ring and entered the bottom of the river. In the end, of course, there was nothing to be gained, and they could only leave in disappointment. But inwardly, they believed that Lan Si took the spiritual item away and cussed out the sea race inwardly. Lu Muyen and the other pupils of the 8 Extremes sect also followed the 2 elders who came to Falling Ghost River, and they left on flying magic tools. On the flying magic tool, Gu Xiu and the others looked at Lu Muyen with envy. Junior sister Lu, you sure are lucky to meet Shin Mu Feng, who was about to die, and kill him. He could be exchanged for 100,000 sect contribution points. Jin Sei said with a smile. Lu Muyen replied with a light smile, it's also a coincidence. If it wasn't for Lan Si of the sea race who seriously injured him, it would have been me who died now. That's true. The several people nodded. Junior sister Lu, you've hidden yourself so deeply. You've already advanced to a grade 5 array master at such a young age. This talent can be matched to that genius of the intersects array school. Peng Yang praised. Inwardly, they already believed that Lu Muyen's talent was even stronger than that person, but they couldn't say it aloud. After all, that person was a person in the sect they couldn't afford to offend. Who's that genius? Lu Muyen was unfamiliar with the inner sect. She had only heard that there was a grade 5 array master genius, but she didn't know much. He's a direct disciple of one of the ancestors of the sect. Not only is he a grade 5 array master, but he's also in the top 10 of the inner sect strength ranking. Gu Xiu replied. Jin Sei added, not only does he have heaven-defying talent, but also a very deep background. If you enter the inner sect, junior sister, you definitely shouldn't provoke him. He's very arrogant in the inner sect? Lu Muyen asked the several people who appeared very afraid of that array genius, curiously. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, no, he's not arrogant. On the contrary, he's very low profile. Gu Xiu paused, then said, but no one dares to offend, otherwise they'll definitely end miserably. Lu Muyen's eyes revealed a hint of interest. I sure feel like I want to meet that senior brother more after hearing what you all said. The several people twitched the corners of their lips. Everyone else was hiding from that person, but she actually wanted to meet him. She was truly a lunatic. Along the way, the several people chatted for a while, then they cultivated in their cabins independently. After returning to the sect, Lu Muyen first greeted the several people and headed back to her courtyard for closed-door cultivation. In the cave at the bottom of the river, she broke through to peak phase sword sovereign with the energy birthed from that obsidian fluorite, and when she fought with Shen Mu Feng, she caught a sense of comprehension of the wind element, so she calmed down and settled to consolidate her cultivation base in an attempt to search for that sliver of comprehension. Time passed little by little, and a month later, Lu Muyen opened her eyes, her beautiful pupils filled with brilliant light. Taking advantage of this period of time, she not only stabilized her cultivation base, but also raised it to its peak state. She could break through to Sword Venerable at any given time with an opportunity. As for the comprehension of the wind element, she also caught on to it a little, and the introduction of it had been completed. Then she took out the crystal core of the Tier 9 White Jiao Dragon and refined many Grade 5 pills and improved a bit in her alchemy skills too. A communication talisman floated in from the courtyard. After listening to it, she immediately got up and flew in the direction of where the headmaster was. As soon as Lu Muyen stepped into the courtyard, she saw a beautiful woman leaning lazily on a rocking chair drinking tea. She walked over with a smile on her lips. Pupil pays respects to headmaster. She saluted with a pupil greeting. Hualing Long opened her eyes. Her almond-shaped eyes overflowed with a layer of softness. Little girl, your cultivation speed is so fast. The last time she saw Lu Muyen, this girl's cultivation base was only at middle phase sword sovereign. In only a year she actually arrived at peak phase sword sovereign. Cultivation speed this fast sure was shocking. Headmaster called me here today isn't just to praise my fast cultivation speed, right? Lu Muyen wasn't restrained in front of Hualing Long either, and went to sit in front of her, pouring herself a cup of tea. Not only was Hualing Long not angry, but her smile grew even deeper. Lu Muyen's temperament was very much to her taste. I heard that you're already a grade 5 array master? Lu Muyen picked up the teacup and took a sip. The fragrance lingered along her lips. Oh. Then can I understand it this way? You, as part of the talisman school, is also a grade 5 talisman master? Hualing Long raised an eyebrow slightly with all kinds of charms. About right. Lu Muyen said modestly. When Hualing Long heard her say that, she immediately sat up straight and looked at her with scorching eyes. Are you serious? How dare I deceive headmaster? Lu Muyen blinked and said. Your talent is a little too scary. Hualing Long sat up straight and tapped her fingers on the table. The headmaster of the array school has come very often to visit me in the last month. Lu Muyen played with the teacup and looked up at her. She didn't say anything, waiting to hear her next words. They all want you to go to the array school to cultivate. Hualing Long raised her eyes and looked at Lu Muyen playfully. You tell me, should I release you? Lu Muyen chuckled and asked with a sly smile. Then does headmaster want to release me? Of course not. If anyone dares to dig Liaoniang's corner, Laonyang will beat them to death. Hualing Long said domineeringly and arrogantly. Then doesn't that settle it? Since headmaster already made a decision, then why bother to test me again? Lu Muyen leaned lazily against the back of the chair and continued to say leisurely, I have no thoughts of changing schools. Very good. You really didn't disappoint me. Hualing Long reached out and patted Lu Muyen on the shoulder and said, I believe you won't disappoint me in the competition for the intersect spots in a month. Lu Muyen put away a bit of her carefreeness and looked straight at her. Is the competition for the intersect spots ahead of schedule? Chapter 383, Can't be low profile even if desired. The 6 major sects assessment for the promotion of the outer sect pupils to intersect pupils usually took place in another half a year, but now it was suddenly brought forward, so Lu Muyen was surprised. According to past practice, the competition for the intersect pupil spots should be in half a year, but because the land of inheritance is about to open, the competition between the 6 major sects will be brought forward, so the assessment time has been changed together. Hualing Long explained. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows slightly and asked, "Does the sect's grand competition have a lot to do with the inner sect exams?" "Of course. The spots for each sect in the land of inheritance are all determined by the grand competition. The sects that win the most have the most spots, and the last sect will naturally be allocated the least. Most importantly in this session, who knows how those superior almighties went crazy, but they requested that all the participants of the sect's grand competition must be new inner pupils, so the superiors of the 6 major sects are so anxious to bring it forward." Hualing Long pouted, obviously not showing much respect to those almighties above. But Lu Muyen really liked the temperament of this headmaster, refreshing and domineering, but extremely protective of close ones. When she returned to the sect, she ran to exchange for the 100,000 sect contribution points, but there was an elder who didn't like that and said she only took advantage of a situation to kill Shenmu Feng and suggested to exchange for only 50,000 contribution points. Before she even went into a rage, Hualing Long went into a rage, wielding 2 giant axes to beat up the elder in charge of the sect's contribution points exchange hall, and finally took this ordeal to the sect leader. Of course, her 100,000 contribution points were also in her bag without a cent less, and she only needed to be promoted to inner sect pupil to exchange the heavy water. "What does headmaster want me to do?" Lu Muyen asked Hualing Long with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Hualing Long's gorgeous face revealed an arrogance. "I want you to enter the inner sect in a high-profile manner. Your talents in arrays, talismans, alchemy, and smithing can all be revealed." "Can you give me a reason?" Lu Muyen knew that Hualing Long wouldn't make such a decision suddenly. "Little girl, sometimes it's a good thing to know how to hide, but it's also necessary to properly reveal your strengths." Hualing Long said earnestly, "With your talent, you will definitely represent the 8 extreme sect to participate in the 6 major sects grand competition. Only if you perform outstandingly in the competition for the inner sect spot, then after you enter the inner sect, would they provide you with the highest quality resources to improve. After all, the sect also wants to get a few more spots to enter the land of inheritance. Headmaster means that if my performance is average, the sect won't spend a lot of resources to train me?" Lu Muyen thought about it and asked. She was originally going to enter the inner sect in a low-profile manner, but it seemed that it would be difficult to implement now. The resources that should be spent, they naturally wouldn't be stingy with, but some special resources cannot be enjoyed. Hualing Long said in a whisper, "For example, the opportunity to enter the sect's core secret area to comprehend arrays, smithing, alchemy, talisman and such skills would be gone." "The sect's core secret area?" Lu Muyen thought about it and guessed a bit from it. "Yes. Each sect has its own secret area, and there is a mysterious Tower of Enlightenment in the secret area. There are very few pupils who are qualified to enter the Tower of Enlightenment, and right now is an opportunity. Because the 6 major sects grand competition this time is linked to the land of inheritance, so one of the ancestors of the sect decided to open the Tower of Enlightenment to the newly promoted inner sect pupils with great talent." Hualing Long looked at Lu Muyen with a look of trust and said, "I hope you win this rare opportunity." Lu Muyen was silent for a moment, then raised her eyes and said jokingly, "Headmaster, are you leaking secrets? Did I say something just now?" Hualing Long blinked and said, "When one is old, their memory isn't that good. I think I don't remember what I just said." Lu Muyen smiled merrily. "Headmaster was discussing the spiritual tea in the cup with me just now. Come and read on our website wuxialover site." "Thanks, yes. We were discussing spiritual tea." Hualing Long gave Lu Muyen a xuanhuan look. The opening of the Tower of Enlightenment was indeed a secret. She didn't know if other headmasters would reveal it or not, but she knew that if she didn't mention it, then this little girl Lu Muyen definitely would hide her strength during the assessment for promotion to the inner sect. "Headmaster, I brewed a few pots of spiritual wine for beauty and refining elemental energy a while ago. I wonder if you're interested?" Lu Muyen accepted Hualing Long's kindness and naturally should repay a little. The contact between one person and another all required mutual support. One would never be recognized if they expected the unilateral efforts of others. Hualing Long's eyes lit up. "Of course I'm interested." Lu Muyen took out a jug of honey spiritual fruit wine and a jug of bloodsack wine and placed it on the table, then said with a meaningful smile, "I won't disappoint Headmaster, an ill-earned face for you when the time comes." Though after some research, although they have similar meanings, but the peach one apparently originated from an ancient poem about a man and a woman, where the woman offers a peach and the man offers a previous jade, thought to be his jade pendant, but not to repay her kindness, but instead to cherish the affections and be on good terms forever. Chapter 384, Crazy Smashing of Talismans. The promotion assessment to the inner sect was half a year ahead of schedule, and was also something like a small festival. The outer sect pupils practically all came to watch the assessment competition without any absences. The outer sect pupils of each school could participate in the promotion competition for the inner sect. As long as they met the requirements, they would be selected into the inner sect. Those with outstanding results may even directly become an inner core pupil. The opportunity to soar high into the sky was in front of everyone, it just depended on whether one had the ability to grasp onto it or not. Many pupils were excited to sign up to participate. After all, this was an opportunity. Maybe they could enter after they happened to perform outstandingly. On the day of the inner sect promotion assessment competition, the headmasters of each school personally brought the pupils who would participate in the assessment into the arena of the sect. The sect's arena was generally built for the pupils to practice cultivating martial skills. It was wide and could accommodate tens of thousands of outer sect pupils to watch the assessment competition. When Huoling Long brought Lu Muyen and the several people to the scene, people from the other courtyards had already arrived. Do you think the talisman school of that tyrant female dragon would be bottom again this time? The headmaster of the alchemist school whispered to the headmaster of the array school. The headmaster of the array school had always wanted to dig Lu Muyen over, but Huoling Long kept slapping his face and kicking him out. He was holding his anger in. Humph, when isn't there talisman school at the bottom? I heard that the tyrant female dragon's talisman school has a grade 5 array master. I wonder if they could save themselves around. The smithing school's headmaster said with a little gloating as he looked at the array school's headmaster. He knew that this old thing had been thinking about Lu Muyen for a long time, but unfortunately he was driven out by that tyrant female dragon. The headmaster of the array school's expression darkened and complained, Lu Muyen being in the talisman school is a waste. After the inner sect's assessment finishes, if Lu Muyen really shows extraordinary talent in arrays, I must go to the sect leader for fair judgment. Hee, the one who got Lu Muyen to the talisman school was a pupil of your school. The alchemist school's headmaster said, dropping stones onto one who had fallen into a well. When this was mentioned, the array school's headmaster was furious. That pupil named Xuelaner dared to play such a trick. But he didn't deal with her immediately. He would just wait to see what would happen when the two faced each other in this intersect assessment. Xuelaner's array talent was indeed quite good. She was already a grade 3 array master at a very young age, and she was also a key target for training in the outer sect. But if Lu Muyen was confirmed to be a grade 5 array master, she would surely bear the wrath of the array school's headmaster for scheming against Lu Muyen before. You'll know if she's a mule or a horse after taking it out for a walk. Well, find out during the assessment. Maybe you'll also want to go to the tyrant female dragon to dig her corner. The array school's headmaster glanced at the alchemy school's headmaster. He also heard that Lu Muyen could refine grade 3 pills. This old fellow was watching his joke right now, but he would definitely cry in the future. Of course, the premise was that Lu Muyen was as devilishly talented as rumored. Huoling Long arranged the seats of Lu Muyen and the others, then went straight to the headmaster's seats. She glanced at the other headmasters indifferently. You want to see my joke? How's that possible? How could we dare to watch your joke? The headmaster of the alchemy school smiled awkwardly. This tyrant female dragon wasn't only arrogant and tyrannical, but also very powerful. They weren't her opponents in a face-to-face fight. It truly was a waste of such a beautiful face. Huoling Long snorted and was too lazy to care about them. She'd wait to see their jokes later on. When the time arrived, the sect leader stood up and encouraged the pupils below, then announced the start of the competition for the inner pupil spots. The opponents were determined by drawing lots, and any means could be used as long as the opponent's life wasn't in danger. This was also the rules of the 6 major sects' grand competition, and the superiors of the sects indirectly encouraged pupils to use more means. Of course, no matter what means one used, one must understand limitations. Otherwise, if the opponent was fatally injured or crippled, then the sect would deal with it according to the sect rules. Ling Fei Yang, Yen Jun, and Mo Ling all participated in the inner sect assessment, and they all performed very well with winning streaks. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, the opponents Lu Muyen drew were all from other schools and she basically defeated them all within 3 moves. The examination competition was held for 3 days in total. The first 2 days weren't very interesting, and only the 3rd day was the crucial competition. Lu Muyen entered the assessment competition on the 3rd day without any suspense. This time, her opponents would become the elite pupils of the outer sects of each school. Seeing Lu Muyan's lazy and inattentive look from the very beginning of the competition, xianxia said with a smile, "It seems that junior sister doesn't take the assessment competition seriously at all." Lu Muyan folded her arms and replied lightly, "Senior brother is joking, I don't dare not care so much. Your turn now. I'm waiting for good news from junior sister," he said meaningfully when he heard Lu Muyan's name read below. "Alright then, just you wait." Lu Muyan stood up and flew down to the battle platform. Xianxia was a person who couldn't be underestimated, and she believed that this man would amaze everyone today. After she arrived on the platform, a burly-looking pupil also jumped onto the stage. He swept Lu Muyan with a bit of disdain in his eyes and said, "You're the Lu Muyan who randomly picked up 100,000 contribution points? None of your business." Lu Muyan raised an eyebrow, showing absolutely no face to this elite pupil of the smithing school. "Truly don't know good from bad, he'll make sure you can't be arrogant in a bit." The burly man snorted. The situation about Lu Muyan meeting Shin Mu Feng, who was severely injured and on the verge of death, and killed him by a sneak attack had long spread throughout the sect. Many pupils were secretly jealous, envious and hateful that she picked up the 100,000 contribution points so easily. At the same time as envious of her luck, many arrogant genius outer sect pupils also looked down on her, and they didn't believe that she was a grade 5 array master at all. "If you want to battle, then battle, what's the point of talking nonsense?" Lu Muyan said indifferently. When the burly man saw that he was being despised by Lu Muyan, he was furious and immediately took out a Saint Treasure magic tool to attack her. Lu Muyan didn't even bother to draw her sword. She directly took out 2 grade 4 talismans and smashed them towards him. As soon as the talismans landed on the burly man, a roaring fire dragon and an ice dragon emerged from the talismans and rushed towards the man fiercely. In only one round he was knocked off the battle platform with the power of the talismans, and that taste of ice and fire was enough for him to endure for a long time. Seeing Lu Muyan's simple and crude actions, many of the pupils present twitched the corners of their lips. She won just like this? Could it be any simpler than this? Huoling Long looked at the ugly expression of the smithing school's headmaster and couldn't resist laughing and applauding. Lu Muyan was too much to her taste. Was there anything more interesting than using talismans to defeat the geniuses of the other schools? The next rounds were as Huoling Long expected. The geniuses from each school took turns to go into battle, and no matter whether they acted or didn't act, they were all smashed down the stage by Lu Muyan's talismans. Her actions also successfully attracted the attention of the sect leader and headmasters. The faces of the remaining pupils who hadn't yet competed were also very strange. The pupils present were all envious, jealous and hateful again. Didn't this woman feel any heartache after smashing so many high-level talismans? Even if she didn't care, they all felt their flesh hurt. That was all money. Huoling Long, what Lu Muyan smashed out were all grade 4 talismans. You couldn't have given them to her, right? The alchemy school's headmaster saw another one of his school's geniuses smash down the battle platform by a grade 4 talisman of Lu Muyan's and couldn't help saying as he looked at Huoling Long. Chapter 385, Disdain, Bang. Huoling Long suddenly smashed the table in front of her into pieces with her palm, revealing slight violence on her beautiful face. "You want to be beaten, right?" She raised an eyebrow and watched the headmaster of the alchemy school as she moved her fist. "I, Huoling Long, have always done things fairly and upright. I don't like to use inappropriate means like you damned old things in your schools. The grade 4 talismans are all refined by Lu girl herself." Seeing Huoling Long want to use her fists again, the alchemy school's headmaster remembered the embarrassing incident of when he was beaten by her and couldn't get out of bed for 3 days last time, and his face darkened instantly. "Huoling Long, we're still in a competition right now. Don't be so arrogant." "Laonyang is arrogant, what can you do to me?" Huoling Long narrowed her almond-shaped eyes. Seeing this, the sect leader hurriedly said, "Junior sister Hua, don't be agitated. It won't affect your image well if you fight in front of so many pupils." "Humph, this time I'll give the sect leader some face. If any of you dare to continue to slander the pupils of the talisman school, Laonyang definitely won't let it go easily." Huoling Long huffed coldly and retrieved her fist as she sat back to her place. The other headmasters couldn't stop shuddering. This female tyrant dragon was simply too arrogant. The sect leader could only smile bitterly when he received the looks of grievances from the headmasters of the several other sects. What a joke, he didn't want to go provoke this female tyrant dragon. After Lu Muyan stepped down from the battle stage, She naturally discovered this scene with her mental energy. Her lips rose with interest. So headmaster even had the nickname of female tyrant dragon in the sect. But whoever had the bigger fist had the right to speak. This timeless truth applied everywhere. The next opponent Lu Muyen drew was xuelaner, who knew if someone deliberately put them together. On the battle platform, xuelaner could be considered a beauty in the array school, but compared with Lu Muyen, who was peerlessly beautiful that could cause the downfall of a kingdom, xuelaner lost beneath her. I used to think xuelaner was also quite pretty before, but why is it that compared to Lu Muyen she just fell right into the dust? A pupil of the array school sighed. Lu Muyen was not only the kind of beauty with exquisite facial features, but her beauty was the sublimation of her temperament. She was as light as the wind and clouds, like a female celestial above the 9 heavens. From time to time she revealed a kind of boldness and laziness, but she also made one feel gallant, refreshing and wild. If the two temperaments were placed on others one may feel odd, but they were vividly expressed by Lu Muyen. No matter where she went, her unique temperament was very eye-catching and attractive. Of course, this was also under the premise of strength. If Lu Muyen was just a swordmaster below Sword King, then she might have long become a plaything for other powerhouses. I wonder if senior sister Xue will be able to win Lu Muyen or not. Although another person also agreed that Lu Muyen was more beautiful, but xuelaner was their array schools after all, so they naturally hoped she could win. Senior sister Xue and Lu Muyen are both at peak phase sword sovereign, but Lu Muyen has grade 4 talismans, so she's more likely to win. Actually, senior sister Xue also has hidden means. In the end, it's uncertain who will win or lose. That's true, senior sister Xue is an elite of our array school. Don't enhance other people's spirit and diminish our prestige. The pupils of the talisman school watched the battle platform with anticipation and cheered for Lu Muyen. For many years, the talisman school had been at the bottom of the inner pupils assessment competition. This time, with Lu Muyen and Zi Che strongly entering the final day of the competition, it greatly enhanced their faces and they hoped they would go even further. Lu Muyen, use whatever means you have. Xuelaner also heard the discussions below. She was originally very confident in her beauty, but she couldn't help but feel jealous in front of Lu Muyen. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks, she secretly hated her and planned to defeat Lu Muyen in this battle. You're worthy of my means? Lu Muyen raised an eyebrow with a bit of disdain in her expression. She rarely showed this sort of expression to anyone, but she really hated Xuelaner, a villain who liked to talk behind her back. She didn't bother using too many tricks on her. Humph, then today I'll let you see if I'm worthy or not. Xuelaner had a hideous look on her face. She quickly took out an array flag and started to set up an array. While setting up the array, she sacrificed 3 defensive-type saint tools and a saint treasure to block in front of her, in order to prevent Lu Muyen from smashing her grade 4 talismans. Lu Muyen chuckled, "You don't need to guard against me with such big fanfare. I'll use talismans to smash others, but I think it's too wasteful to use them to smash you. You push people too much." Xuelaner looked at Lu Muyen grimly, her eyes filled with killing intent. "I'll use your own words against you, use whatever means you have." Lu Muyen didn't want to waste too much time with Xuelaner. The conversations and actions of the two were always dominated by Lu Muyen, while Xuelaner was passive, making many pupils feel that Lu Muyen was too arrogant. Who knew how long her arrogance would last? After all, since Xuelaner was raised with importance in the outer sect, she naturally had her own strength and definitely wouldn't be weak. Xuelaner kept forming the array while Lu Muyen folded her arms indifferently and watched. Seeing Lu Muyen's calmness and composure, even the several headmasters felt that she was being careless. Xuelaner's array was quickly constructed, and the entire battle platform was suddenly attacked by cold air. 4 giant pythons composed of ice elemental energy emerged from the 4 directions, roaring and flying into the sky. Grade 3 highest level killing array. Xuelaner can actually set up such a high-level killing array. Her talent is amazing. A pupil couldn't help but exclaim. The other pupils of the array school didn't expect Xuelaner to have hidden her strength. With her talent, there was basically no suspense in becoming a grade 4 array master. This killing array can even kill an advanced phase sword venerable. Lu Muyen's in danger. I heard that Lu Muyen is already a grade 5 array master. It's not certain who wins or loses. Can't you see how calm she is? Grade 5 array master? You believe in such a rumor? An elite of the array school said, "The genius senior brother in the inner sect is only a grade 5 array master. Lu Muyen's a liar." I also don't believe it. I'm guessing that her array talent isn't even as stronger as senior sister Shui. I wonder what she's so arrogant about. How embarrassing it'd be to be defeated in a bit. Just watch, I'm also more willing to believe that senior sister Shui can win. Four ice pythons roared and fell straight atop Lu Muyan's head. They opened their mouth and spewed out a cold mist. The cold mist also contained countless icicles, and as long as one was struck, they would instantly become a sieve. Lu Muyan smiled playfully, stretched out a hand and pointed it at the sky. A huge flame appeared out of thin air and instantly swallowed the four mighty ice pythons. She then took out a jade stone and tossed it casually. The jade stone formed an arc and fell on a corner of Shui Laner's array. Break! As soon as her voice fell, one watched as the originally intimidating grade 3 killing array instantly fell apart. Pu! As soon as the array broke, Shui Laner couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. She looked up at Lu Muyan in horror and unwillingness. She couldn't accept that Lu Muyan broke her array in just one move. It took her 3 years of hard work to build this array successfully. She even felt that it was perfect and had no weak points. How could it be broken like this? Chapter 386. Wanna play gang up with me? Shui Laner clutched her chest, her eyes bloodshot. She neither believed nor accepted this fact. The icicles in the sky were completely annihilated by the elemental energy flames before it fell, and the battle platform was restored to its original state. It took only a few breaths of time for Lu Muyan to win, making people's eyes widen. You thought the grade 3 high-level array you built was perfect? Lu Muyan looked at Shui Laner with a smile. Shui Laner raised her head and glared at her fiercely, saying, "How did you find that weak point?" The weak point of that array that Lu Muyan found was something that even she, who arranged the array, neglected, but it unexpectedly became the key to breaking the array. Well, it's good for people to be confident, but being too conceited makes one doomed to failure. Lu Muyan looked at her with ridicule. Do you think I'll give pointers to my enemies? She knew the drawbacks of Shui Laner's array, but she wouldn't point it out. I didn't use any other means to deal with precisely to completely destroy you. The array that you're so proud of is actually so vulnerable. What other means can you use? I'll give you another chance. Lu Muyan precisely wanted to break Shui Laner's confidence. Shui Laner closed her eyes. When she opened them, her gaze was much calmer. That's what you said. Immediately, Shui Laner gathered elemental energy at her feet and quickly maneuvered around the battle platform. She was very fast and many people couldn't see her figure clearly, only phantoms passing by. Gu Xiao and the others who were watching the battle from a distance couldn't help but smile with ridicule. This Shui Laner actually wants to play footwork in front of junior sister Lu. She's really humiliating herself. Peng Yang and the others had seen Lu Muyan's ghostly movements. Who's to blame when she sent herself to her door to be insulted? Jianghu pursed her lips in disdain. If anyone dares to slander me behind my back, then I'd go directly to their door to beat them to death. Junior sister Lu is still too kind. Gu Xiao and the others couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips when they heard her words. Lu Muyan was too kind? Wasn't this sentence too fake? In their opinion, Lu Muyan was the truly ruthless one. If she just beat Shui Laner up, maybe she'd vent her anger, but if, on the battlefield from beginning until the end, she didn't even take the opponent to heart, waiting for the opponent to use their proudest and strongest means, then when she actually acted, it could completely destroy all the self-confidence of the other party. They dared to conclude that if Shui Laner was defeated today, she would definitely give rise to a heart demon for both her cultivation and arrays. If she didn't meet any fortuitous opportunities in this life, it would be difficult to advance much. This was truly ruthless, attacking the enemy silently, not wanting their life, but letting one fall from above the clouds to being stepped on into a quagmire. After seeing her methods, they decided even more to not provoke her in the future. Lu Muyan was even more terrifying than the demoness Jianghu. Senior sister Shui's so fast, I didn't expect her to have such footwork. A small follower of Shui Laner in the array school said cheerfully. Yeah. I didn't expect that she hit quite deeply. She sure never showed these kinds of movements before. There were also those who didn't like Shui Laner who said sourly. On the battle platform, Shui Laner constantly shifted and changed positions. She prided herself on being as light as a swallow, but she was like a jester in front of Lu Muyan who had extremely strong mental energy. Puchi. Suddenly, several black pills flew out from all directions and exploded in the air instantly. A black smoke lingered and a scent that caused one to choke filled the air. This is elemental eliminating poison. Shui Laner actually used such a sinister method. How shameless. The pupils of the talisman school couldn't help but curse after recognizing the black pill. As the name suggested, elemental eliminating poison was something that could eliminate elemental energy. Once a swordmaster inhaled it, the elemental energy would be lost and their whole body would be stiff, allowing others to slaughter however they wanted. Come and read on our website wuxialover site. Thanks. Although this poison wasn't listed as a banned poison on this continent, but few people would use it. After all, this method wasn't righteous and couldn't be brought to the light. It's over, junior sister Lu is in danger. Many pupils of the talisman school looked at the battle platform anxiously. The pupils of the array school were also somewhat conflicted at this moment. On one hand, they hoped that xuanhuan would win. On the other hand, they felt that her victory by this method was a little incompetent. Just when most of the pupils thought that Lu Muyen had been eroded by the poisonous smoke and left to xuanhuan to deal with, she waved her sleeve and a cyan black firebird emerged from her sleeve. The firebird chirped, opened its beak and sucked in all the poisonous gas in the air. It then revealed a humane expression as if unsatisfied. "Xuanhuan, do you still have any more elemental eliminating pills? Give a few more." Lu Muyen said with a smile as she hooked her finger, and the firebird flew to her wrist. This was the separate spirit flame that she had refined with those snake gallbladders and extreme poison. The food it loved the most was also extreme poison. Seeing this, xuanhuan was so angry that she spat out another mouthful of blood. She paid a lot of money to obtain those elemental eliminating pills. She originally thought that she could restrain Lu Muyen, then humiliate her, but she didn't expect it to be resolved with just one move. She wasn't reconciled. Could it be that this woman was her nemesis? Since there's no more elemental eliminating pills, then this game should end now. Lu Muyen tapped gently, and the cyan black firebird disappeared from her wrist. A strong sword aura from xuanhuan attacked from behind. Lu Muyen tapped her toes and disappeared in place, and the sword aura fell to the ground. Immediately, xuanhuan's body flew upside down from midair and landed heavily below the battle platform. Only then did Lu Muyen's figure loom from the air. What surprised the pupils was how Lu Muyen avoided the sword aura attack from xuanhuan. They didn't see it clearly at all. Sure isn't fun how easily you can be beaten. Lu Muyen furrowed her brows in disgust. I originally thought that since you injured and slandered me behind my back, I'd play with you a bit more, but you're too disappointing. You? Xuanhuan didn't expect that apart from the fact that Lu Muyen broke her proud array with a single blow, the movement technique she had kept secret for so long as her trump card would also be so vulnerable in front of her opponent. At this moment she suddenly felt disheartened. She was unreconciled, and she couldn't believe that she lost so easily to this hateful woman after preparing for so long. Trying to steal the chicken only to end up losing the rice. Old man Luo, there are quite a few scums in your array school. Do you need my pupils to help clean up your house? Huoling Long glanced at xuanhuan, who couldn't accept the facts with disgust, then raised an eyebrow and said to the array school's headmaster. The headmaster of the array school had a grim expression and snorted coldly, "Don't need your fake kindness." The xuanhuan really was embarrassing. No one else could see that jade that Lu Muyen used to break the array just now, but as a grade 6 array master he saw it very clearly. Lu Muyen indeed saw through the weak point of the array at a glance, and it was absolutely possible that she had the strength of a grade 5 array master as rumored. Xuanhuan privately tampered with the spots when applying for the schools, causing the array school to lose such an excelling talent. Now that she was defeated in such a humiliating way, the headmaster of the array school had nowhere to vent. Xuanhuan was defeated, but Lu Muyen's battle wasn't over yet. The next one she drew was the number 1 genius of the Outer Tamers school. As soon as Yin Hong stepped onto the stage like xuanhuan, he first took out some defensive saint tools and placed them in front of him to prevent Lu Muyen from smashing talismans. Then with a thought, 2 tier 7 demonic beasts and a tier 8 demonic beast emerged from his spirit beast ring, instantly surrounding Lu Muyen. Lu Muyen blinked, folded her arms and chuckled, "You actually want to play gang up with me? You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.